Join Bobby for The Takeover every Tuesday night as she tackles tough subjects with her trademark humor and wit. We guarantee you'll be educated, edified, and also entertained. So join us at 8 p.m. every Tuesday night, right here on Trailblazers Radio.
We're living in a different time. Isn't that what the old folks say? Well, I beg to differ, because there really is nothing new under the sun. We used to think that this generation was stronger than that of my parents. But after learning where and whom we come from, I realized that this was a false narrative. They fought, bled, and died for the liberties that we take advantage of today. So I changed my mind. We are our grandparents. We are our parents. This is where the idea for uppity Negro apparel and accessories comes from. We are the uppity Negroes that defy boundaries, broke chains, climbed mountains, and crossed valleys of hatred, bigotry, illiteracy, and oppression. The statement is simple. The cause is never ending. The sound, loud. Say it with me, Kendrick. I am that uppity Negro.
Well, we are live. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope I got everything working. It looks great. And if it is working, it'll be a happy first, honey. So if my eyes look all red, because I was like crying before the show came on, watching these videos about stuff people put on there. I don't know if it's fake or real, child, but it just had my eyes watering, honey. So anyway, this is going to be a show where I am going to try to stay very calm. I'm hoping that I have some guests that'll be coming in. I didn't ask anybody specifically, but I'm hoping that I have some guests that will come in. I don't know why every time I do a video on here, this side of the room, no, this side of the room, I don't know, it doesn't point the way I want it to. That side of the room, no, this side of the room, I don't know, that side of the room, yeah, right there. It's so dark. I don't know why it's always dark over there, because it ain't dark over there. Anyway, so I'm going to try and stay calm. I'm going to hopefully have some guests on that will answer the question that I'm asking, because the name of this particular broadcast today is Whatcho Mad Fo. And I think I did most of the show on my live yesterday. So, but that's the question I have. What you mad for? Because I keep looking at my timeline on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, and these women 35 and over are just mad. They're angry. They literally are yelling and telling people off. And I watched a podcast. It's not mine, but it was somebody else's podcast. And it was a group of people on there. It was two women, 2 men. And her question was, what could you do for me? And this, that, and the other. She was loud or whatever. And he was trying to explain to her what men can do for women. And she wouldn't let him finish. She was loud. She didn't want to hear his point. She didn't, and when she did shut up long enough to hear what he had to say, she had a counter for it already, because she had her own money, she had her own place, she had on all of this, and if you really want to know, she probably had her own penis. I'm pretty sure she ordered it and it came in a plain brown wrapper. Just saying, because men are confused about what women want. They're confused. Do you want a man? Do you want a good man? Or do you just want what you think looks good with your wardrobe? Do you want what you think is going to just take care of you, listen to you whine and cry, eat rice-a-roni and macaroni out of a box, and unseasoned chicken, and I just don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand what most women want, and I'm one. I know what I want, and I'm fighting for it. But I have no idea what y'all want. Because y'all confusing me. You so mad. You so angry. And the only thing that you're sure about is that you're a table. I, I don't understand how you can run $1 million, $100,000, $1 million business, and you can't sit down and have a conversation with a man long enough to get to know him, or for him to get to know you without you interrogating him about where he lived, how much money he made, where his mom. All of that'll come, but that does not make that man who he is. And you take a snapshot. And I don't like when preachers do this either, about when they tell you to go find you a man. You better make sure he got. Well, are you making sure that you got? Are you worth him taking out his time to do what he has to do? And you can flip it, because are the men worth what you're trying? Well, what you're able to give. But right now I'm focusing on women, because I'm not understanding why we so mad. I'm not understanding how you separated how the idea of being independent and being with the man became the separate issue. Why can't you be independent and still be in a relationship? Why do you feel like if you cook for a man, clean for a man, wash clothes or whatever in the house that you both live in, is somehow taking something away from you? How is that him making you his mama or his maid? Somebody talk to me, because I'm confused. Because of whatever you're doing for him, you're doing for yourself. Don't the clothes gotta be washed? Don't the food gotta be cooked? What the heck? Okay. So, where is this coming from, was my question. Because I talk to friends and all of this, and I see where it is always good to because that's part of your thing of being a parent, is teaching your children to be independent, to be able to live on their own, and be able to function on their own. I get it. Men should know how to cook and wash their clothes and clean a house, and men should know all of this stuff, just like a woman should know all of this stuff. Because there'll be a period of time when you by yourself and you need all of that. But it's not, I need to know all of this stuff because once I get in a relationship, I'm just not going to do it for nobody else. Because I'm not a maid. I'm not your maid. I'm not your slave. I'm not your what. But then when you saying all that, so you're not their companion or their friend either. And if that's the case, and you don't want, then what you mad for? If you say you don't want no man, and you don't want to be tied down because you don't need nobody taking away your independence, then why are you mad? Because you're alone. That's what you wanted. That's what you said you wanted. And don't say that, and stop saying that I love being by myself. I like being alone. I do vacations. I got my own money, and you great, and all of this other stuff. And then get on here and bash men because you not having one is on you. It don't have nothing to do with them. It's you. You don't want a man. You said it. I don't know how you expect to have children if you ain't already got none, unless you did it yourself. You use a turkey baster. Did you steal a used condom and do it yourself? I'm serious, because I'm trying to still figure out how you're going to do all this and be a mother and then not have no man in your life, and now he's a deadbeat. Now you don't want to take care of the responsibility. But if you had this conversation before, you laid down with him, you would have known that he didn't want no children. And it may not be he didn't want no children, he just didn't want none with you. And yet you did whatever you decided you wanted to do. So you bashing men and you talking trash and you treating them all kind of way because you don't want one. But if you don't want one, then anything that they say and anything that they do short of putting their hands on you shouldn't bother you that much. What you mad for? I don't understand what you mad for. You got exactly what you wanted. You're getting exactly what you wanted. So what you arguing with that man for? Just simply say, I just don't want no man. But I don't know what you're arguing with him for. I don't understand that why everything that he says brings out the worst in you. I don't get it. Now you mad because you're getting exactly what you wanted. So what you mad for? I'm not understanding why you're mad. I'm not understanding why you on this thing screaming at people. You said that you wanted to be the table. Then be the table. Let people come sit up under you, eat, and get up and go. It's your table. Because it's your table, they don't have to clean nothing off. It's your table. You the table. That belongs to you. So why would they clean off anything? Why would they clear their dishes? Why would they clean up the mess? You're the table. Because this is what you wanted. I don't want no man. I don't need no man. I don't have no whatever. Now you mad because you 40 and you ain't got no children. You don't want no man. But you mad. You got to be mad because you on here bashing. You on social media bashing every man that you can bash. Talking about ain't no good ones out there. Ain't no. How would you know? You don't want one. How would I know that I don't want to drive a Cadillac if I don't never drive a Cadillac, if I don't ever try to a Cadillac? How would I know that I don't want to eat shrimp if I've never had shrimp? You telling me every man you ever been with just a dog and didn't want to be with you and just dogged you. You didn't have any good relationships. So you and then if you did have a good one and you had a bad one, you just gonna give up totally on it? So you went to McDonald's and the service was bad. You didn't go for 2 or 3 months and then you went back to McDonald's. So you would rather give McDonald's another chance than give a life partner another chance. That's all I'm asking you. What you doing? What you mad for? You're getting exactly what you want. This is what spoiled people do. They get what they want for whatever they're doing, and then they complain about it. They get mad about it. You're spoiled. And you've decided that you're going to take the word independent, and it's going to mean that I'm going to be independent, but I'm not going, and being independent means I don't want no man. Because you can't be independent and have a man. What the heck is wrong? I'm still trying to figure out what's wrong with us. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with us. I don't know. Why does being independent also mean that you don't have to have nobody in your life? I'm not even going to go to the scriptures today. I'm not going in the Bible today. We just talking. Because I've already explained how biblically wrong you are about being alone. I'm just done with that. Whether it be in a relationship or be in a religious or spiritual environment, you're wrong about being alone. So I'm gonna leave that alone today, and I'm gonna try my best to stay off this table. But what I do want to understand, and I do want to know, is what you mad for? What you mad for? You have what you want. You're alone. You're alone with them children who you barely know who the daddy is, and that ugly ass dog. You have exactly what you want. So please explain to me what you mad for. You're living in the neighborhood you want to live in. You got the red bottoms. Every day your face is beat. You got the hairstyles you want. You got the bundles. You got the car you want. What you mad for? Why are you yelling at all these people on this thing? I'm going to call you Dr. Page. Thank you for joining me. Please see if I can get Fred. Maybe Fred can bring you in on here. I didn't send you a link because I didn't have a way, but Fred might be able to send it to you in your email if he can do that for me. I would love for you to come on. Because I don't I hate
If he wants to be a willing participant.
Yeah, let's ask Dr. Page if he wants to come in, because I don't want this to be a monologue. I'm really trying to understand.
It ain't a
And it's
monologue.
not
I'm
just
here.
women that are angry. It's men that are angry. I stood behind a man, and this is where this all came from. I stood behind a man in Family Dollar, and he just was. The first thing I heard was, "Wait till one of them get in the White House," and I didn't know what he was talking about until he started talking about women in particular and how feminism has gotten out of hand because these women are these women just done went crazy. And in my head, the first thing I thought was, well, if these men would pull their pants up. And even if they didn't pull their pants up, you can wear them as low as you want to. How about you stop wearing leggings and black fingernail polish and telling me that you a dude? Because you wearing fingernail polish and that bag that you got, I understand it might be a satchel, but why is it bedazzled, sir? You a whole grown man. Please tell me why you got glitter on your bag. And you got it over your shoulder instead of across your body. That's a purse. It's not a satchel. It's bedazzled. It's got beads on it, bruh. I can't. Wait. Hold on. Let me get some water. I'm going to get some water for you. Lord knows I wish this was some Stella Rosa. So I'm going to calm down.
Why you ain't got no Stella Rosa then?
Because I don't want to scare Dr. Page. I want him to come on. I'm trying to understand
what you mean scare?
The way that black men are letting the other culture, the other people, infeminate them. They're becoming so feminine. You wearing fingernail polish.
Whose fault is that though?
We don't see. This is the thing. There's no fault. There's no fault. There's no blame because no. These are individual decisions. True. These are not cultural over the broad. These are individual. You as an individual, you decided that wearing black fingernail polish or any other color fingernail polish, because I've seen them with designs on them, is not just for women. It's for men too. Women have decided that on Father's Day, I need to have Father's Day gifts because his father is not around. Women have decided that my independence means I don't need nobody. I don't need no man. I don't need no help from nobody. I don't need no friends. Because my circle is so small. This is what I'm talking about. And my problem with them, and I don't have a problem with you wanting to do all that. But what my problem comes in is what you mad for. Why you yelling? Why y'all arguing?
But I don't see an issue with someone's circle being small in a dot. I don't have it. That's one thing I don't have an issue with.
I have an issue with small circles, because when you have a small circle, there is a tendency for you to close off and not have anybody else come in. And to me, that is not healthy. That's my opinion. My opinion is to close yourself off to just those in that group and then say, well, we're not going to let nobody else come in. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because you miss out. Not only do you miss out on somebody teaching you something, you miss out on whatever the gift God gave you or whoever you listen. I'm going to say God because that's who I worship. But if you worship Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig, then that's all, folks. You do that. But I'm not mad about that. But what I'm saying is this: it closing off people out of your circle. It puts a lid on the gift that God gives you. And so, and the Bible says, if you read the Bible and not something else, it tells you, do not put your light under a bushel. And a lot of times when we get into these small circles and all of these things, a lot of times it's hard for other people to get in because y'all already got y'all own thing going on. And so you don't want to open. The issue is deep. This is product of slave. You better that's exactly what I'm trying to talk about. When I say other people, I mean non-melanated folks. That's what I mean. And so a lot of this is very plantation-like. A lot of this is very massa speaks, especially when it's a division in our culture, in our culture itself. But
it's always been a division in our culture.
I don't want to. I'm sorry.
But it's always been a division in our culture.
No, it hasn't. It didn't become a division until we got over here.
That's
Because
true.
it's over there, yes, now, but we're talking. What I want to do is I want to stay right here in this box, and in this box, because this subject can go 16 different ways. Let's stay in this box, and in
Okay.
this box, I'm asking why people who say they want to be alone and don't want to be with a man, or a men who say I don't want to be with no woman because I done been hurt enough and all the other stuff. What you mad for? Like when somebody comes at you and asks you, well, why you and you get a whole attitude because ain't none of them no good, and this and he did me and my mama taught. But what you mad for? Why you just can't
Look,
say I'm independent and I just don't want no man? No, these are the discussions they're having. We having women they mad.
look. I was in Clubhouse a couple of days ago, and yeah, they go in and go hard. And I mean, if you that mad or you that pissed, just don't say shit.
Right.
Just be quiet.
That's
Just be
my point.
quiet.
That's my point. And but this is the thing. This is what my mama taught me. Nothing if you're not concerned about anything and you don't get mad, and if you're not concerned about anything and you don't care, it wouldn't make you feel like that. This when I was with my ex-husband and I wanted him back, everything he did that didn't pertain to me and was contrary to him coming back to me pissed me off. The women made me mad. The children he kept having made me mad. All that made me mad. But when I got over him, when I was done, turkey based a stick a fork in it, put a toothpick in the cake. If it come out clean, done.
Ooh,
I could care less.
that's done.
Exactly. I could care less about anything that he was doing because I was done. And this is what I tell my boyfriends all the time about his baby mama. For her to be that mad at you all the time like that, she wants you back. There are still feelings and emotions there. Because if she didn't want you, she wouldn't care. She wouldn't argue with you. She wouldn't go back and forth with you.
That's true. But it also comes down to
So,
the point of, like, when you hear women and men say stuff like that, you hear women, I mean, and certain women will constantly say stuff like that. Well, I don't want to date I don't want to date no dusty ass nigga, or I don't want to date no bitch ass nigga, or none of this other stuff and all this other stuff, and then calling all black men dusty, or they don't protect black women. Then you hear black men say the same, try to answer those questions and try to give context or give other proof positive that's not the case. Or if you hear dudes that say the same thing as some women say, I mean, to me that's sad, to me that's pitiful, but it also lets me it lets me know that we are going to continue to be disconnected with each other, because nobody wants to come to the middle and compromise. Nobody wants to come to the middle and talk. Nobody wants to come to the middle and say, hey, let's put all these issues and problems out on the table, and then let's all work together, not just individually but also collectively, to find a solution.
but here's the thing, Mr. Beatty. Here's the thing.
Call me Mr. Beatty. What the
The thing is, because that's when you're just intelligent, and that's a sign of respect, because you just spoke some truth right there. So this is the thing. The thing about that is you can't solve a problem if you won't admit that there's a problem. The other reason that you can't solve a problem is if you're talking about a problem and that's not the problem. So a lot of times when you ask women or men why they don't like whichever of the opposite sex, they start giving this list of things that they don't like about an individual, or a trait that is not within everybody else.
That's called moving the goalposts.
Right. And so you got all these little things why I don't like this, and I don't like this. And I saw a little what you call it, something, whatever you call this thing, and they asked the guy, well, why you don't like black women? And he went into this list of Um, no, the question was why does he prefer a white woman? And his thing was, well, because black women said, no. What are you bringing black women into this for? The
See,
question was, why would you prefer it? Nobody said what you didn't like about black women. We asked you this question, and that's the problem. We asked men and women why you don't want to be with the other one, and all of a sudden you going into something else that don't have nothing to do with what I just asked you.
but see that's the thing. Because everybody brings that when someone asks a question like that, they bring their experience to the answer.
Right.
And
And you could bring
and
your
when
experience into the answer. That's fine. But understand that your experience with that individual has nothing to do with the next individual. And I
it
think
don't,
a lot of people use as a cop out
it's a
the
scapegoat.
stereotypical things that people say as fact. As because he lived with his mama and he ain't got no car. First of all, like I said yesterday, how you know he not living with his mama because it's economically sound? How you know he
But
not living with his mama because his mama's sick?
but
How you
what
know he
did
not
but what
living with his
difference would
mama
that what
to save his money? How you
but,
know?
but what difference would that make in
That's not the
the
point,
totality
Fred.
of it
I
all?
know, understand. Listen, you talking logically. I'm talking about these people who are mad and who want to be an IKEA table and who don't need no man.
You
That's what
can
I'm
be a
talking
table
about.
all you want,
We understand that it doesn't matter, but for the majority of people on the social media that are angry, that does matter. Why he ain't got no car? Why he and I don't want no woman with no children. First of all, how you know them her children? How you know she's not keeping those children because her sister or somebody died? How you know that? I mean, you have no idea who this person is because those are the people you don't even give a chance because you've already checked off the first 5 things on the list of this is what I don't like. He lived with his mama. Nope. He ain't got no car. Nope. He got children. Nope. He got a job, but he make less than me. Nope. Not even considering the fact, does he go to work every day? That's the point. Can
but
he
that's not
build a table?
but
Can he
that's not
put food on the table?
but that's not the prism that a lot of people look at it from. You mean you're talking from a
Okay,
common
so
sense
that's what we're
perspective?
trying to get to. No, stop. That is what we're trying to get to. How do we get back to that? Because we already know what the problem is. Let's come up with the solution. How do we get back to where where we can where independence didn't just mean I don't need nobody, but independence is I'm gonna be off the grid of welfare and food stamps, and I'm gonna be with a partner that I can grow with, and that I'm going to how do we get back to that? And we talking about 35 and up because I don't know what happened to
Hey,
these grown people. These
there
younger
ain't never,
children is let them they taking care of themselves, but the problem with them is they're watching us.
but it's not gonna but you talking about getting back to something that was, you know, that could have had that was prevalent, back when we were growing up and what we saw with our own mothers and our own fathers. You talking about something that was prevalent back then.
Fred,
What
if
I'm the
they
buzz
can
no,
bring
but
Fred,
listen to me. But what I'm learning that the principles that kept my mom and dad's marriage together and that kept relationships in cohesive and in one spot. Those principles back then they do not apply to 2022.
Fred, Mr. Beatty, if they can bring back bell bottoms, we can get back to this.
But see, you talking about a trend. We talking about something that's been
It,
intrinsic and hasn't
it,
and has
it,
been
it was trending back then. Good men dressing nice, asking you out to dinner. It was a trend, and we can bring it back.
most women
It
don't
has
even
to be.
acknowledge most women don't even acknowledge chivalry.
First of all, see, that's the problem right there. Stop it. Because you don't
What?
know most women. You don't know most women.
Some women don't acknowledge chivalry. They think
How
that's
many is
ridiculous.
some? How many is some?
I can't give a ballpark number.
Okay, and so that means you can't give that broad generalization.
So okay, so I'll say this. For me, chivalry isn't dead.
Okay then.
But for I won't even say a vast majority of few people, but some people don't even it's not readily or openly acknowledged now.
That's your experience. And so how do you change that? That's my point.
Quinn said
How do
some
you
is for.
change
Good
that?
God. Quinn said some is for. I can't with her today.
She said what?
Some is for.
Exactly. No,
I
thank you,
can't with her
Quinn.
today.
Well, listen.
I cannot with her today.
But it's the truth. Some is for. So we've always learned that in school. Some is for. But listen to me. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not brushing you off. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to get us to start talking about is the solution. We already know the problem. We already know what let's say some again or the majority. We already know what's going on because I just told you what's going on in social media. We get that. My question is this: how do we get back to that? What steps can we take? And a lot of this stuff has to be taught in the Dr. Page. A lot of this stuff needs to be taught across the pulpit. I don't know if Kim Burrell is the person I would get to teach it.
Nah,
But
it's gotta be taught more than just across the pulpit.
It has to start somewhere, because obviously it's not starting in the homes, because the mama ain't but 15 or 16. The grandmama is only in her 20s. The great grandmama is barely touching 40, and so it has to start somewhere, and it has to start in one community and ripple out.
It does, but the when the real start happens when people come to the middle and start talking about it.
Well, you got to get them to the middle.
People don't want to come to the middle.
You don't know what people want because you have no idea what everybody wants.
Okay, I won't say people.
You gotta find like-minded people. How do you do that?
You got to get out there and converse with folks. That's where you find like-minded people when you talk.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But you can't go into a situation thinking that it's already not going to work. What is Quinn saying? It starts at home and people don't want church. Well, I don't agree with that either. I agree that it starts at home, but I don't agree that people don't want church. People keep saying that, and I just am not in agreement with that. I think that people do want church. I just think that people don't want to go to a church where they're not being seen, where they're not being taught anything except how to get money, where they're not being taught about how to hold on to your marriage. I understand the social media age, but the social media age is what we've made it. And so just like we made it, we can deconstruct it and get back into church. There are pastors out there that really want to teach the word of God. There are people out there that really just want the word. They don't want the extra. They don't want fire and brimstone and you going to hell. What they want is, this is a real journey. This is a real process, and your feelings are valid. And your feelings are validated.
See,
and nobody's saying that your feelings are right, but they're validated. They're real feelings. So let's talk about how you got there, why you're there.
Yeah, but we have to be able to get people to be willing to come to the middle, because people are going to be on the left side or the right side of it. Either they're going to dwell on the left side or the right side. Nobody's going to want to nobody's going to want to toe the line or teeter the fence. You got to be. There has to be, and I'm going to speak for me. For me to come to the middle there, and I won't say a lot of people there, but there has to be an incentive to want to come to the middle. There has to be an incentive to want to come to the middle.
The incentive for that person, if this kind of incentive is not enough, which is it will make your life better. It will help you find the person that you want in your life. If that is not their motive, then you move on to the next one.
See, when you say that particular phrase right there, I won't say people, but it's going to be looked at in a particular context. And that context is only going to apply. That context will apply to. They're going to apply that particular context to their own life.
But isn't that how you apply? Isn't that how you apply anything that has to be worked out? You have to apply it to your own life. It has to be manifested in your life. Because if it's not, then if it's not manifested in your own life, then how can you teach? Listen, how you gonna teach a class on being a millionaire and you barely got $3 in the bank?
That's true. What I mean, but that's the
How
way
you
it's gonna
gonna
be
teach?
looked at.
How you
If
gonna teach?
go ahead, go ahead.
How you gonna teach about good relationships and good marriages and good being a good steward of the gift that God gives you if you do not have that, if that's not applied in your life, if you do not live that kind of life, if you do not if you are not um manifesting that thing in your life all the time. I don't speak about I don't speak about certain subjects on this show um because the person that I want to talk about is not here to defend themselves. And when they do, they'll be able to talk about it. So there are a lot
Right.
of things I don't talk about in relationships, but I do talk about broken marriages. I do talk about children and mothers and siblings being broken. And so if you work in the gift, if you work in the gift that you're good at, if you work at the gift that you're good at and stay in the gift that you're good at and stay in your lane, then all of the things that you need help in, all the things that other people need help in, within your lane, then you won't get discouraged. If you find people that are going through what you're going have been through or going through, that's your lane.
Right.
Disappointment comes when you're trying to do something that's that is beyond your spectrum of knowledge.
That's true. But I
And
think,
when
but I
people find out you a liar and you don't know what you're talking about, and you just going off of book knowledge, or you going off a meme you saw and you thought it sounded cute, so that now that's your new motivation, that's your new mantra, uh that's your new motto because it sounded good on Facebook, then you won't have a problem. And this is what I'm talking about. So my question to you is this: how do you fix it? We already know the problem. We know that it's a slave mentality. How do we pull these people back out of that out of the darkness of what Massa said? How do we pull people out of the darkness of what your mama said? Because your mama was traumatized too. So that's my question.
well, first of all, we have to first of all, first and foremost, as with any trying to solve any issue, you have to get to the root of it, the origin of it. Where did it begin? If you I think I truly believe that if you get to the beginning of it, to the origin of it, the the problem won't solve itself, but it makes solving the problem a lot easier. So there's a beginning to everything. So you have to find out where that beginning is, root out that beginning, and figure out how do we get from here to here, and what can we do to repair. Not even, and let's just be honest. The origin is the origin. The beginning is the beginning, regardless of what anybody says. And you can't fix what happened from the beginning, from the beginning up to the point that you in that you interact with a person. But you can do what you can to try to do what you can to affect that person for the better from that point, from the point of interaction forward, because we all bring traumas into all of our interpersonal relationships, whether it's a friendship or whether it's a marriage relationship or whether it's you're just courting somebody trying to get to know this person. We all bring some sort of trauma into that. And now I'm not gonna say that that's healthy, because it isn't. But you know, and just like Quinn said, I mean, we have to, first of all, you have to just keep saying that, hey, can we come to the middle and let's talk about this? I mean, it doesn't, but people are always gonna, I won't say folks are always going to teeter totter on that. They're not gonna, they'll be there, they'll be lukewarm and sit on the fence about it, because people, folks will only do what they want to do only when it literally applies to them. If they feel they can benefit from it, or they feel they can optimize themselves, optimize themselves for it. We have to start from that. We have to start from that origin spot and work our way forward. You know, and uncover all that nasty, ugly stuff, because all that nasty, ugly stuff is what is all that nasty, ugly stuff is the result of result of that person's disposition. So any woman or man that said that does all that says all these mean stuff about each other, especially black folks, because we do it to each other almost all the time. And whatever happened in the beginning is the reason why that woman got that nasty ass disposition, or why she don't wanna, why she feel black men don't wanna, why she think black man ain't nothing. It's that dude that's got that was traumatized. Reason why he got a nasty disposition, and why he says that I'd rather date a white woman than date a black woman because of this, and this reason. There's a reason why these folks have this nasty disposition, because what they've been exposed to and what they've experienced. So for me, I'm gonna acknowledge the experience and acknowledge the exposure, but bro, sis, let's talk about this, man. What the hell? What's going on? Why are you in that position? Exactly. Exactly, Quint. You become a representation of your situation when you're traumatized. Why? That's the origin is where it is. Whatever went down with you from, and I'm not even gonna say from birth, but I'll say from a specific age. Maybe from a toddler forward. We've all been exposed to experiences. And we've all been exposed to whatever situations we've been exposed to. That is something that needs to be dealt with. That's what needs to be dealt with, because those experiences from long time ago is the reason why some people are in their nasty or hateful or even deceitful dispositions. And that's just the thing. That's how that is. That's how that is. I mean, that's where it starts. That's where it starts. Where it ends is dependent upon that person's ability to be receptive to hear, to number one, healing, number two, to correction, number three, to advice. And those are three things we as human beings don't like. We don't like to be corrected. We can't stand we can't stand being corrected. We don't want to receive healing because for some of us, not all of us, it's counterproductive to who we are now, to who we are at the moment. And we ain't gonna receive advice from nobody, especially somebody who's maybe an older person who's experienced those things and who's trying to steer you from that path. So so those are three things we're not going to be accepting of, because at the end of the day, and I can say this from my own personal perspective and experience, because that was me for a while. I ain't want to be corrected. I didn't want to be healed. I'm in the process of my healing, and I didn't want to take advice from anybody because I felt like I knew it all. And at the end of the day, we don't. At the end of the day, pardon my French. At the end of the day, we don't know shit. We know we exist on this plane. We know that we are on this plane of existence. We also know that we're here. We're on this plane of existence because God decreed it and declared it so. And everything else that happens within our existence are the experiences that we have. But those experiences are what leads up to our attitudes and dispositions, and how we view people, and how we view people. The one thing that I like that I've learned, how we view people is literally how we view people, whether it's negative or positive is literally how we view ourselves. If we look at somebody in a negative manner, then we're probably looking at ourselves in that same manner. If we're looking at somebody in a positive manner, we're probably looking at ourselves in a positive manner. So it starts at the beginning, Bobby. I mean, I'm not trying to take over your show or nothing like that, but that was just something I just really wanted to put out there, because it starts from there, and it progresses forward. Because now you know why this person is in this disposition, why they got this nasty ass disposition toward men, or why this person got this nasty ass disposition toward women, or why they got this nasty ass disposition toward people, period. There are things that are good. There are things that have happened way back when, and those things, those those traumas travel. They not only do they travel from one person to the next, they also travel within that individual as they matriculate, as they I won't say matriculate, as they get older. Some certain things are hard to get rid of. Trauma is one thing that we all had, that we all want to get rid of, but it's something that we all personally live with. It's how we address it, it's how we deal with it, it's how we heal and move forward from it that makes the difference. And just like Quinn said, we all need healing in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's physical healing, whether it's spiritual healing, whether it's emotional and mental healing. So we all need healing in some way, shape, or form, because regardless of contrary to anybody's popular belief, we're all hurting in some way, shape, or form. I mean, and it's like it's not a cookie cutter type. It's not a cookie cutter solution, because it's gonna be different for everybody. So my solution for me is different would be different from your solution for you, because and so to kind of bring it home with you, let's start from the beginning first and then move forward, because now I know why you're the way you are, because now I have a history. Now I have a history lesson on you, and now I know why you're the way you are. Now I know how to approach you. Now I know how to stand in the gap for you in prayer. Now I know how to intercede for you in prayer. Now I know how to speak to you in a way that's not condescending or offensive, but it's also at the same time also speak to you from a point of respect, and also give you advice or try to impart lessons to you with respect. That's the other thing that I think we don't do, especially us. We don't approach each other with humility and respect. We always want to say, "Hey, no, you don't need to do that." No, you have to. Every situation needs to be approached with respect and humility, because we don't know all the answers. We can only give an account to our own personal experience, and we can only impart our personal experiences onto the next person if they're willing to receive it. They got to be a willing vessel to receive it. They got to be like, "Oh, okay, maybe he or maybe she might be talking truth. Maybe he or she might be speaking relevance. Maybe he or she might be saying something that might be um great, or not necessarily great, but might be worth it for me to hear, because maybe it's relevant to my situation or my circumstance or my disposition." I don't know. Like I said, there's a beginning part of everything, and we have to get to that beginning part of it. If we don't start from the beginning, we don't go no further. Period. So yeah, just saying. It- anybody else can y'all can chime in. Tell me what y'all think about that.
Hey y'all.
Hey,
Can,
Q,
how y'all doing?
hanging.
Can I say I commend y'all on this topic, because it's a really, really hard topic to deal with. But I have to. I don't know what just happened.
Oh, hang on, I'll fix that.
I have to certainly agree with you. Um, a lot of times we become a representation or a byproduct of our situation. And when we become that byproduct of our situation, we start to act unseemingly. We start to just do things that's out of the norm of your actual character, out of either hurt, out of anger, out of loneliness, whatever it is, we began to pick up that character trait. And we have to get back to ourselves. Um, and it sometimes it's a hard situation to get back to. Like you said, a lot of us go through traumas, and we need to be healed from them. And
That's right.
that healing, it takes time. Everybody deal with their healing on a different level. So, for example, I had a situation recently and I reacted and I hurt somebody. And that thing hurt me to my core because I know that's out of my character. So now I had to ask for forgiveness. Not only did I have to ask for forgiveness from that person, I have to ask for forgiveness from God. And I know God has already forgiven me. But the fact of the matter is, I reacted to a negative situation in a negative way. And my motto is always, I don't want my reaction to be the cause of somebody else's actions. But I let my reaction overtake me. So it's so important for us to first, yes, most of the time our trauma start from childhood, from what we seen, from how we lived, from the social part, being around our social circle or different social circles. And we may see a lot of negativity and we begin to act like that. So getting back to who we are is a start. Our social media platforms, because we're in the social media age, is a great place to start. If they start hearing about more positive relationships, more relationships doing well, more relationships coming together in unity, more relationships going to church together, more relationships supporting each other and praying together. If they start hearing that part, then we can get back to the old place where our mothers and fathers stayed together, where we didn't rely on the state to pay our bills, where independence meant go get a job. But we have to start somewhere. If we're in the age of social media, start with social media. Paraphrasing the word, Paul said, I become all things to all men that I might win them. So I'm going to do what I need to do to win you, to get that in your spirit. A lot of churches, and I don't even want to say a lot, but churches that I've come up in, a lot of those, they focused on your gift instead of focusing on your soul. Focus on where I need to be healed at before you look at my gift. Because you could look at my gift all day. I could operate in my gift all day. But what is my soul saying? Am I hurting? Are you dealing with what I'm dealing with at this point? And that's why a lot of people don't want to go to church. Because they like, these are hypocrites. Yeah. So if we can start here or start somewhere to get it in the people's spirit, because everything that we say, every time we say something or do something, we're sowing a seed. Now somebody's going to come along and water it. And then it's going to begin to blossom. So it's up to us. Start somewhere. So I commend you, Bobby, on this. Just starting somewhere.
The issue with that is trying to get people to come to the middle. Because you're going to have there going to be people on the left and people on the right. And then there's going to be people that's going to be kind of in the middle, but not necessarily in the middle. They go that line. And they don't want to come over here. Because everybody has their own processes about what certain things are and how they be. And I don't know. Like I said, that's why I say that we're as a people, we're just disconnected. And we're all over the place. And my thing is true connection happens when we can come to the middle and understand each other without being antagonistic.
And I agree with that to a point. Once again, as we sow the seed, it doesn't matter what they're hearing in their ear. When we sow the seed, and then people come along and water it. Now they getting a confirmation. Now they're seeing other people's actions, and people are representing what they speak, because actions speak louder than words any day. So when they begin to see that, although they may be hearing negative stuff also, they will learn to yield towards the positive stuff, and they'll get back to the basics. We always talk about getting back to the basics, getting back to the basics of God, getting back to the basics of where we first loved Him, getting back to the basics of those two parent households, getting back to the basics of walking by faith and not by sight. We gotta start somewhere.
Yep. I look at it. So when do we get back to the basics of us just being human? We can talk, but I'm saying we can talk about getting back to the basics of loving God and going back to our first love, but it starts with being human. Understanding that aspect of it first, then moving into the other thing.
We're being human every day. When we make a mistake, we're being human. When we wake up, we're being human. Our movements, we're being human. We're human every day. Now let's get back to the basics of our healing.
Do we as men and women acknowledge that?
But see, that's the first start. Only you know if you need to be healed from something. We can't tell you need to be healed. Only you know that. Only you know what you're hurting from.
True. You got an echo friend. It might be on my end.
It might be. I don't know because I think he was the last one to pop in. Might be. It possibly might be on her.
Let me mute.
Not sure. Okay. Now.
Yeah, it's on quit, and I'm not sure why that's like that, but so I don't know what I missed. So I had a phone call. I'm in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff. I got that going over there. I got housing piece of paper over here. I got medical things going on over here, and I'm just trying to stay focused. So the name of the show, the whole gist of the show is Whatcho Mad Fo. That's where like I said before, when we first got on, and I'm going to stay with that, even though I missed some things. I want to stay with that. This is the box that we're going to stay in. We're not going to deviate from this box. It won't be no blame him, blame the he's and the she's, or there's no blame, because we already know what the issue is. Now we're coming to a point where we need to understand what we're going to do about it. What are we going to do about young ladies saying that they're a table? What are we going to do about young ladies saying that I don't need no man? What are we going to do about these young men who are where it's being hard to differentiate men and women on this side, what gender you are? How are we going to get back to the differences between men and women, and having those differences and still being able to coexist together? Because there was a time that these differences were acceptable. They weren't this taboo kind of thing. Women, and I don't want to say the word roles, because it triggers some people for some reason. But I think that when you're in a relationship, there really are no roles, because if you're in a relationship and it's like this right here, there's no roles, because if the clothes need to be washed, somebody gonna wash the clothes. If dinner need to be cooked, somebody gonna cook the dinner. If this need to be done, somebody in the relationship gonna do it. Why? Because I'm not doing it for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for us. So how do we get back to teaching these children what us is in a way that is healthy, in a way that shows compromise in a healthy way? But another thing is this: how do we get into a place where we're teaching people how to go back to doing these things without being criticized and, good God, ostracized. Because it's like crazy that you get off work and cook. What does he do? When did that become the first question they ask you? Instead of, girl, what you cooked last night? Because that's the first question I asked when she said she got off work and cooked. Or when a man said he got off work and he had to put dinner on. I want to know what y'all ate and why my plate is not here. It's not, well, why he cooking and don't you work as hard as he do? What the hell? Where's this coming from? And I know where it's coming from. It's coming from this white feminist movement that we marched with them in with two different agendas. Because our agenda was equality, period. No, I don't want to be no dude. But if you drive a truck and I drive a truck, why are you making 59 cents and I'm making 35? This is where the problem is coming in. Because, honey, and I still want you to open the door, me in my plaid shirt, jeans, and Timberlands and all, because I'm still a woman under here. I still want you to open my door. I still want you to open your umbrella. I still want you to give me a jacket when I'm cold, because underneath all of that, I'm still a woman. That's what feminism is. Feminism is not you deciding that because you want to be equal to a man, you want to be one. And the other issue that we're having is, besides male and female gender roles, is the idea that they're blurring the lines between who you are as a person. Because how the hell you get to pick a pronoun? You get to pick a pronoun?
Can I
say? So if I could choose what color I want to be, my credit score right now, and I want to put all these applications.
Can I say once again, it comes to a mindset change. And it comes to us sowing a positive seed. We can criticize, we can agree to disagree, we could do all that. But if you lead by example, we show, improve, show and tell, however you want to put it, people will start to change their mindset. It goes back to, look, I grew up in a home for domestic violence. I ended up in a repeated cycle. So I became a byproduct of my environment. Once again, we're in the social media age. We all have platforms. If we're showing them through our platform what it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be, and they're constantly hearing it, guess what? It's going to have a trigger effect. Other people are going to start talking about the same topics. Now, we sowed the seed, you sowed the seed, somebody come along and water it. People are going to be like, oh, shoot, everybody talking about the same thing. It got to be some type of truth to this. And their mindset starts to change. Okay, I tried everything else. Let me try it this way. Let me get out of the mindset that I don't need a man. That's a bold-faced lie. I do need a man. But coming up, our families taught us to be so dominant. Let me just speak on my family. Women in my family are dominant. We were groomed to be able to fight a man physically. When we was kids, my uncle would bring us in the backyard. You wrestle with him, and you better not cry. We're dominant. You're going to be independent. You're not going to have to rely on a man. We're dominant. So we grow up with that mindset. My mindset, I've been on my own since I was 17. I've been taking care of myself since I was 17. I had to be dominant. Affection is not realistic to me. Showing my vulnerable side, when I began to see tears come out my face, I was like, something's wrong. What is that? That's foreign to me. It's not real. So now that I'm 46 years old and I just started dealing with my vulnerable side 2 years ago, I'm still trying to grasp this thing. Saying sorry? Nah, not me. But I'm learning. And I had to want to learn. I had to want to heal. I had to want to get to know who I am. Not just on the outside, oh, I'm cute. No. On the inside, I had to deal with all that dirt. So it's up to us. Sow the seed. Live by example. Other people will start watering seeds. Other people will start sowing seeds. People will start picking it up. It'll become a norm. Okay, I need to get to know me. Okay, I don't have to be dominant as a woman. I don't have to show that masculine side as a woman. I'm feminine. I need to be treated like a woman, like a lady. Yes, I do need a man. You don't have to have that mindset. I don't need a man. No. God created Adam and Eve for a reason, so men and women won't be lonely.
See. But this is where you rub against the wall with that. When we try to hold each other accountable.
There's another echo.
Let me mute.
The echo can only be heard when he talks.
Yeah. To me, the red dot on that reticle is when we try to hold each other accountable for the things that we do to each other, and someone in that person ain't receptive to accountability or responsibility. And then that's where the red dot on that reticle is, and that's where the disconnect to me starts and where it becomes prevalent, because there's no accountability, there's no responsibility. If I'm holding you to the rug for your behavior and what you're doing, then you ought to be receptive to that and say, okay, maybe he's seeing something and maybe they're seeing something that I don't see, and maybe I need to pull myself to the rug and try to be accountable for that. But nah. We don't want to be accountable to that, to being pulled to the rug. We don't want to be responsible for our attitudes and our dispositions. No, we're just fine with that. And I hate to say this, but it's a hard truth when I do what I say. It's a hard truth. The moment we try to pull each other into accountability and to accept responsibility for attitudes, dispositions, and actions, that's where we come up against a brick wall. Because if I'm in a relationship with somebody, and that person doesn't want to, and neither one of us want to take accountability for what we do to each other, or neither one of us want to take accountability or responsibility for our attitudes and our dispositions, where's the damn growth at? Where's the middle? Where's that compromise? Where's that compromising position? And I'm gonna say a compromising position isn't always a bad thing, because people look at a compromising position as being something that is totally like not advantageous or any of that. Being in a compromising position it can sometimes be a good thing, because you have to be able to come together and compromise and say, hey, okay, I see your attitude and your disposition. Let me pull you to the rug on that. You see mine. I expect you to pull me to the rug and call me out on that. But what happens when neither one of us or no person is doing that? The result to me is dysfunction.
So here's where I see not necessarily the disconnect between a man and a woman, or like anything like that. But here's where I see the disconnect with us as a collective, as a culture, as a peep. This is where to me this is where the disconnect come from. I agree with the ideology that women are taught to be independent of men because of how society is. I get that, especially black girls. We taught on a whole different spectrum of independence. I agree with that. I agree with trauma and how you can be a product of that environment, but on a certain level of that, you become your own person. And whatever responsibility that environment had in making you, it is your choice, your mindset, if we want to use that word, to change what kind of product is coming out of that. Because if you really want to get biblical, they said, what good could come out of Nazareth? So if you want to get into that, then study that part too. Okay, so moving on from that. I think a lot of the problem is that we don't teach our children how to have real adult conversations, because coming out of that environment of you're going to be tough and you're going to be this and that and all the other and you're going to be independent, it's also this idea that you can do that, but you can't do it with me. You can be as independent as you want, and you can be able to fight and huck a buck against anybody you want to, except me, because I'm the parent. Don't talk back to me. You don't have a side. Do what I say, not what I do, and this, that, and other. And then when you push them out at 18, or if they leave or whatever, you just letting them out into the world with no defense for themselves. They can't have a conversation without getting mad. They can't have a monologue with another person. Not a monologue. They can't have a back and forth, a debate with somebody without thinking, we going to shoot them, or we going to kill them, or they mad, or this, that, and the other. We don't teach them these basic skills because we done heard, most black people done heard, shut up. You don't talk back to me. You don't have nothing to say when I say what I say. And when you send them out into the world, they don't have no idea of how to interact with another person. And so I know what you guys are talking about. You're talking about relationships. I am still trying to get back to the part before you get into that, because you don't have to wait till you get into a relationship and it's a bad relationship to say, I'm gonna get to know myself. You are supposed to be, your parent is supposed to teach you how to do that as a part of teaching you how to be an adult and grow up and be independent. That would be a part of being independent.
You know, a lot of our
is you can have your opinion count. Your feelings are valid. They may be, you might be overreacting. However, in that overreaction, your feelings are valid.
But you know, a lot of our own parents.
Wait a minute. Well, a lot of times when we try to give child or uncle or grandmama or whatever how we're feeling about something, or that something happened to me or whatever, what you did is either I don't believe you, I don't care, or you don't talk to me like that because I'm your mom and I'll always be your mom and I'll put you in the world and I'll take you out. And so I understand about the relationships and all that other stuff. Like I said, we know where that's from. We understand where the men are dressing up and all the gender roles and all. We understand all that stuff. What I'm trying to ask is, how do we get back our children into a frame of mind of independence, but also being respectful of those that have come before them. Because this is where the problem is coming in. They don't even want to have a conversation with you. You acting like you send this nigga. I know people don't like that word, but you send this book a check 15 pages long, and he say okay. It ain't all the time because he has no idea how to respond. Because he don't know. You don't know how to have a conversation with you. And instead of us trying to figure out why he don't never respond, Why he give these little short answers? Why he have to have all these women? Why he have to just walk away and all men are dogs? Why she got six children, six different daddies? Why she need all these men in her life? Why she just have this boyfriend and he this, that, and why she don't want? Instead of dogging her or whatever, let's get to the bottom of it. How do we start the dialogue? Because I asked her the other day, and she told me, you don't do it because she's scared of what he's going to say. She's scared of how he's going to react to the question. So how do we pull people into a dialogue? How do we pull people into a conversation of us getting? We just want to get to know you. Because men and women are going to flip back onto them in an argument. Because we do. And women feel too vulnerable because he don't think she's soft. And if he thinks she's soft, he just walk over me and I'm going to be a rug. So where do we start?
Okay, so you just brought up two different. You just brought up two. You asked two different questions. You said you're not talking about you're not talking about the relationship, but then you just went back to the relationship. So
I went back to the relationship because we bring that stuff from before the relationship into it.
But if you look at
not being communicated is brought in every relationship. I'm not talking about just men and women.
But if you look at our ancestors, my grandmother herself had 17 kids, and they was not all by the same man. So most of the time, our ancestors didn't know who they were. So how could they teach you? So now you trying to get to know you by going off of, my mama sure didn't know who she was. My daddy had 7 kids of his own by different women. So he didn't know who he was, and he was an addict. So where are my examples? Nowadays, like you said, the young people are having babies while they're babies. The grandmothers are 28. My kids made me a grandmother at the age of 38. Okay? So I was still young and still getting to know me. And I'm still learning me on a daily basis. See, I didn't start to learn me until I got in the church. I got to know the Lord. I went through abuse. I went through the low self-esteem or no self-esteem. I went through almost dying. And then it was like, okay, God, I got to do something about this. And he exposed what I was dealing with to a pastor named Pastor Brody. And he called out all them spirits. I was birthed in a deliverance ministry. And that's when I began to learn who I am. That's when I realized my life had value. That's when I realized I was worth more than what I was taught in the past. I had to go through life experiences in order to become who I am today.
Okay, so in you, this is my thing. In you becoming who you are, have you ever went back your own children and asked them about how you were as a parent? Did you?
We talk about it all the time because my children, I always have an open relationship with my children. They tell me what I did wrong. We've had it on the platform. They tell me what I did wrong, how I did wrong. We talk about it all the time. I outright apologize to them because I'm far from perfect. I still make mistakes all the time. So yes, I've had that conversation several times with them. Because even in that and even in me apologizing, they still was not healed from some stuff. So we had to revisit some stuff. And I allow them to do that every time they feel like they need to do it. Am I going to keep apologizing for the same thing? No, I will not. Because at some point, you got to move past it. It's not you do what I say, not as I do. No. We're not doing that because I was taught that. That's what my mother used to say to me. It's not shut up, you don't have a voice. No. It's not get out the kitchen. No. We're going to have a conversation. You all are adults. So we're going to have real conversations. You can always come to me concerning everything. And there's some things I got to be like, look, you don't got to tell your mother everything. Some things I just don't need to hear. So I don't have a problem with that at all. And there's times where if I need to say something to them, I bring witnesses because I know what I deal with. So it starts with the mindset. It starts with somebody being an example. And like I said, this platform is always good because we're in the social media age. And that's where our children are learning, through social media. School, most of the time, before they got back in, was social media. They on Zoom. So, yeah, we're going to have a conversation. My children are very intellectual. They communicate very well. And there's a lot of kids that can. Men are like onions. It just take a minute for them to let out their feelings, because most of the time men are taught to be hard. When I shut down, I'm not telling you anything because I shut down. I've been trying to talk to you, and now I don't want to talk anymore, and my silence becomes golden. So it just depends on your environment. It depends on the situation. It depends on if you feel like you need to be healed. There's stuff I'm still healing from. Go ahead.
I'm with you on all of that. But this is where the very last thing is where we split ways. Where I go another way, and you keep going straight. This is the thing. Once I got into a my mind.
You broke up.
Once I get into a particular place in my mind of who I was in God,
Mm-hmm.
the environment that's around me doesn't matter to me because I set the environment.
Mm-hmm.
I set what is going on in that area. That's me. And that's where we break up. Because when I walk into a room, the atmosphere is going to become what I say the atmosphere is going to become. This took years. When people talk about knowing what they're worth and knowing all this other stuff, great. My worth and my value is only as good as the anointing that flows through me. So I'm not particularly concerned about the environment. I'm not particularly concerned about who's there and who's not. I'm not particularly concerned about how you feel in the room. When I walk into a room, I set that environment. Why? Because that is the only way I'm going to keep my peace and keep me grounded.
We didn't defer in that aspect.
It is our job. And it is the anointing in us. It is a gift. It is a power that we were given. That we change the atmosphere when we walk into the room. I don't have children. And so this is why we talk especially about after children or whatever. I don't have kids. So I don't know what it would be like to somebody that just like me. But what I can say is what my mama said to me. And my mom said to me the reason that he was so blocked off from me is because I scared her. She didn't understand why you needed her like all the rest of us needed her. wanted to be like her so bad that I alienated her from me. Because I worked on the image that I thought she had. Not understanding after she died that she was working in brokenness. And she wasn't her mama's favorite. So she had to deal with it. So she did it to her children. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm it's hard for me. I can't come in from a mother's perspective. Not in a way that would be taken serious. Because I wouldn't take myself seriously. I don't have any kids. But I would do this. And I'll reiterate this and no, I am not a product of my environment. Because if I was a product of my environment, I wouldn't be Bobby. I would be quiet, like my mom wanted me to be. I would have never told anybody about what had happened to me. I would have never written a book about it. And I wouldn't be writing something. I'm not a product of my environment. Because I choose to be a product of my environment. I choose to be what God calls me to be. I'm not a product of anything. Especially not the environment that I was raised in. I am more than that. I control whatever goes in his life because I can control what goes on in Bobby's life. Just like your children are adults, you're the only ones that control what goes on in their life. You're the only ones that control what goes on in your life. And in my opinion, your children, no adults, will always be your children. And though there are some responsibilities that you have to let go of your children, the one responsibility that I think that a parent could never let go of from my mother to me is to continue to make sure that my spiritual and mental well-being is okay. Because you brought me in here. I'm talking about my mom and me. You brought me in there. And whatever, and it is, I'm still always going to be your responsibility in that aspect. Because I'm in this, because a lot of things that are why I feel this way, why I act this way, is because I came up under your tutelage. And if it's skew off to the side, then some of this is your fault. Because I got this from coming under your tutelage. And so it would behoove you to come to some type of way of helping me fix what's wrong. That is my opinion. I don't know how that works. If my mom had believed me, if my mom had to my defense after she realized my mind had broken, if my mom had turned on that mama thing that mamas have internal thing and saw that I was something wrong, then a lot of issues I have now I would not have. But to say as 16, which is what happened to me that she was no longer her responsibility because I thought I was wrong was not the way to handle it. And so I understand what you I get it. But what I won't say is I'm a product of it. I'm not a product of my environment. The product of my environment is a 5-year-old girl who knows what a penis looks like on a grown man and knows exactly what it does with a penis. I know that's probably the worst analogy I can give, but that's the only one I can come to. That's a product of my environment. A product of my environment is not understanding that people don't want to have sex with me because one man thinks that's what they were like. I'm not a product of that. I'm not a product of a father that beats their mama. I'm not even though I have that relationship. I'm not a product of that. I'm not. And I refuse to label myself as a product of the detrimental, hurtful, and let's be honest, influential time of my life. I'm not a product of that. Whoever stands on the product of. And I walk in that every time I go. I have insecurities. Yes, I have. Called me out on a day. The dress I had on was beautiful. And I still love it. Because to me, it makes my breasts look like I don't have breasts. Guess what, y'all? We got breasts. You got stupid that's coming out? I didn't buy the dress. I tried it on some time. And so she called me out my boycott. So I still have that to work with. You understand? I'm not a product of my own purity. Because when I walked in the store, they were arguing. But when I walked in, I calmed it down. Not my presence, because it was one that came out of my mouth. I changed the environment where I was. I am the product of God. And that's all.
But that's a learned mindset. Okay? So although I was a product of my environment, that's what I said. Yes, I was. And that's why I had the low self-esteem and all the other good stuff. That's why I dealt with the depression and stuff. It took for me to get to know God and get to know who I am in order for me to come out of that mindset. Now, when it comes to adult children, you're 16, you're not an adult. So I can guide my children now as I do, but they're going to take what I tell them and they're going to do what they want to do regardless. They got the choice to either listen or not to listen. I'm never going to just leave them out there. No matter how I'm treated, I'm still going to pray for them. I'm still going to love them. And sometimes you got to love them from a distance. I'm still going to guide them and tell them what thus saith the Lord. So just leaving them out there, especially at 16, absolutely not. I went through a lot with my daughter at 16. She thought she was real grown. But no, can't leave her. She was running away from home and everything. Can't leave her. I have a responsibility to her. Even now, I still have a responsibility to pray for her. For them. Period. Case closed. They in my bloodline. So I never want to see you fail. I never want to see you left out there. And I had some real nasty stuff said to me. But I still, yes, I'm a pray. So I totally agree with you. Yes. I changed the atmosphere when I walk in the room, but I didn't know that that was possible before. It took me changing my mindset. And that's where it comes to the people.
How much responsibility is it on you as a parent that your daughters ran away or have the audacity to speak to you in whatever house you heard? How much responsibility is that of yours?
Children, they're my children, but you have to realize you can raise your children, but children are going to do pretty much what they want to do. When I thought my children were at school, they were skipping school. I skipped school. When my mother thought I was at school, I would skip school and go get drunk and come home like I went to school. Wasn't a problem for me. But when I found out, now I got to deal with it. So, and I always felt like, okay, we need to have an open relationship. You can come to me with anything. That's always been my mindset when it comes to my children, because I couldn't do that with my mother. I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. So I did not want that for my children. Things happen. Traumas happen. It was some repeated cycles that went on. But guess what? They're still my responsibility. Even now, they're 25 and 27. I pray for them. If they ask my advice, I let them know. If the Lord give me something for them, I let them know. But they take that and they do what they want with it. They either receive it or they don't. I can't force the word on you in no way.
And so then we go back to the original thought of where how do we get back to that? How do we get to a place where they're going to listen? How are we going to get to a place where they want to take that advice. They want to take that from us.
Some people have to
be able to hear from us on certain things. Because I do know from personal experience that you can get to a place where you don't even want to take advice or anything from a person because you don't. How do I get this to go back? Because you don't want to hear from that person because you know that person. And because my thing was always, you don't need to try to nobody anything if you change and if you're doing all kind of stuff. And because my thing is, I used to ask people, you want to teach me what? Oh, you've been raped before? You've been molested before? Somebody ever beat you up? What you talking to me for?
And
if you don't have that thing, point.
Right. What's the point? And I totally agree with you. You can't tell me how to have a baby if you never had a baby. You can't tell me what I'm going to go through. If you never been married, you can't tell me how to be married. I get that. 100%. My children are ones that no matter what you tell them, they have to experience. Mm-hmm. So you can give them good advice. But if they have not experienced that thing that they want to experience, they're gonna go experience it. That's their mindset. And that's a lot of the kids' mindset today. They have to learn from experience, and then they will take your advice once they realize their way didn't work.
So in teaching our children about being responsible, in teaching our children about being accountable, as Fred was talking about,
mm-hmm.
in teaching them how to be independent of us.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily being independent and going into a relationship, just being independent of us.
Mm-hmm.
How does that dialogue work without becoming too far-sighted on one thing? Because what the thing is, I think that independence is picking up the role of everything else, but it doesn't. You're not. You can be independent, but you can have a conversation. You can't sit down with another adult and talk. Because even when I'm at dinner now, people in their 50s, this is what they're in their hand. Ain't nobody talking at the table. You can go. I can go somewhere and we're at a party. Like we had a gathering, like family. Everybody got one of these.
Mm-hmm.
And I done been in a we've been in a party or whatever. And I'm texting the other person right over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the anonymity of it all is so sexy to people. Like not having to be accountable for people to know that that's saying that. It's sexy and it's a turn on and it's this mysterious kind of thing. And I don't know. It's a draw. It's a draw for people. And so I don't know how to get. When I used to drive, when I first driving the truck. Yeah, social media was like what COVID was brought to media to a whole new level.
Exactly.
But I would be driving my truck and I would look at little kid, girl or boy, and they'd be doing like this. You know, they'd be doing this because they want you to blow the home.
Right.
Now,
not no more.
And they don't pay attention.
Nobody
wants. And now, you know who doing now? Grown people.
Yep.
Grown people look at the truck. And so. Just that the joy of that oil has been taken away. The joy of play. I used to one thing I used to do with my niece's son. I guess that would be my grandnephew. Is he always wanted to watch cartoons. I always had the TV off. I went and out in the country. I couldn't find it nowhere else. I went in this Amish store in the hills of Alabama. Risking my blackness. because there's nothing there but non-melanation on it. I went in there and I bought marbles. But that's the same marble. And I told him how to draw the circle on the ground. And at first he was mad because he couldn't put thumb in there to do that little quick. Because you know, you don't push it, you put your thumb in there and you pop it out. And I had to teach him. And once I taught him, this was beat me. But he was doing, and I taught him how to play checkers, and I taught him how to play hopscotch, and I taught him how to, I don't call that thing here. We did a milk jug. For no ball, we had Bill's thing. So we put a milk jug in water, and we tied it to the top and make their pole thing. You used to have a ball on it, but of course, it's so that and you would hit it one way and the other way. Whoever got the ring on their way, they would win. And I know like, so there's no ball. It's not electronic. No, it's a game. And you know what? The good about it, you don't never run out of batteries. And I couldn't. I had to beg him to come to Marvel to learn how to do it. And so, how do we get children that are having children to go back into a time that will seem simple to them, but it made our parents who they are now. It made the men that I know, my godparents, Tony, my godfather, I call him D. My dad was not Cletus, but he acted like a Cletus. Those were men to me. I never heard any one of them call a wife out their name. I never heard any one of them be derogatory to them. I've never heard one of them. I can't cuss because two of them taught me how to cuss. Taylor, baby. So y'all blame honey. And I never heard the wives of those men put into question that those were men. If I'm saying that right. And so, and that is one of the problems with these girls, women out here who don't know no man. You're not gonna get one because you have learned how to cut a man off the knees. This book is walking through life now. Scared of women. Scared to go back because you dogged them. Bye. Everybody don't know. Anton, his idea of women. If his idea of women from the women that I met in his life, no wonder he lost. And the men, no wonder he lost. And so like I said yesterday, the conversation we have comes from this Bible and these other books that I'm reading. Now, the other day he got angry because I went deep into the question. I got a little deep. And I was learning some stuff, and he was opening up, he was telling me things, his voice was quiet, and I could tell that he was really thinking about it, and I asked too many questions. And I went too far. It went somewhere he wasn't ready to go. And he got angry. And he won't talk about it no more. And the first thing I did was try to push. And then I had to bring myself down. I had to make myself think. He actually stuff you don't talk about either. And he knows how to back off. Because he's one of the people that he stays in his lane. He's very quiet, the quiet person or whatever. He knows how to stay in his lane. And so I'm learning how to stay in my lane. He don't want to tell me everything. Now he's not ready. And so the whole point of saying that is we have to get the relationships that we garner with people. We have to get to know people, not assume from their actions and things that they say. But we really have to get in there and dig and know people. And I think the finesse of that is lost because of WYD text. Not me getting one to know you. It's like go ahead.
Look at the mindset. Look at where you came from. Okay, you started with us. we had to get to know the people we was around because you got out the house. You're not sitting there watching TV all day. Go to the playground. Go find something to do. Mama got company. Get out. Go find something to do. You're not sitting there playing video games all day. There is time limits on this stuff. And phone, you don't have a cell phone. You got the house phone. You couldn't get a cell phone until you was able to pay for it. So guess what? If you're not in the house, you're not talking on somebody's phone. So you outside, you having a good time. You playing tag, you playing monkey bars, you playing spin the bottle when you ain't got no business doing it. You doing all kinds of stuff, but you getting to know the people that you're playing with.
So that's it. How do we get that?
You can't. And this is why you can't get that back. If you're not in a good neighborhood and you grew up in the ghetto like we did, if you grew up in the ghetto nowadays,
in the house.
See, this is my thing. My mother's house was the hangout house. So we had card games. We played cards for pennies. We had board games. You gonna do something productive. So while the card game going over here, you got board game going over here, you got Atari going over here. There's a whole bunch of people in the house to a certain time.
But and that's you said that it is a mindset.
It is a mindset
that we start on this platform.
Right. So who's opening up their home and bringing all these kids in the house?
I would.
Yeah, you would. But most of the
we're not talking about 35 and up. These who want to be at the table.
Right.
These men who want to carry people. How do we get to the house?
I posted something the other day. I want to have a platform having single men and single women. I said, those that are interested, I said, tell me what y'all interested in a woman. Men. Women, tell me what you're looking for in a man. And if you're interested in coming on the show, inbox me. Ask me how many inboxes I got. None. Not one.
So what's the next step? You can't give up. What's your next step?
I had one person say, is this for men and women? I say yes. Okay? That was it. That's not the first time I posted. That is not the first time I posted that. So maybe I need to say, I'm going to have a text party with a bunch of single men and single women. Who would like to join me?
And you know you would have more people, like we say, anonymity of it all. For people to not know it's me in need. And when did having a need become so bad? Like when did being vulnerable? When did I just need to
you can't ask me that. You can't ask me that question. That's the wrong person. Because I was not raised. Affection was the men. While we had a 4th of July cookout every year. They'd take us and turn us upside down, okay, by our legs and dangle us. That was affection, okay. My mama, when she gave me a hug, she was drunk. So it wasn't no affection. I didn't even understand affection. To this day, when my girls hug me, if they catch me off guard, I cringe. And sometimes I still cringe because that's not how I was raised. And they're very affectionate. So it just...
So I don't know if you're on here, but you still here. Just type it in. Where do you think? How do we are going to be able to get people together in a way where you drop your phone off before you come in? Everybody can have a conversation. You
can set that atmosphere. This is the thing. You can decide to have an event, right? As they come in the door, you can have a basket. Put your phone in the basket. That's the first rule before you walk in this door. Your phone has to go in the basket. Put your name on your phone. Put it in the basket. Here's a piece of tape. Here's a marker.
Pamela and David Mann have a podcast. And it's them and the table having a weekly powwow with each other. What are doing? The first thing they do before they pray is put all their phones in the middle of the table and cut them off.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation they have, you would think it wouldn't be some of the things that they would say, but they're shocked because these are not the things they would normally say in a text.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't. These are the things that they're normally in a doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mind blowing to me that we're sitting on this thing here trying to figure out how to get grown without being to be vulnerable, without being. And I can, but let me tell you, I promise you understand the fear. For whoever's watching this, anybody, I understand the fear of being vulnerable. I understand that there are women out there that will take a man's pain and trauma and flip around on them and weaponize on them. I understand that there are men out there that will do the same thing. And whether man or woman, they're narcissists. And they will flip trauma on you. And then at the end of the day, they will make it your fault because you just shouldn't have told me. And I've been there. And I get that. But if you're out there and you're saying, I want love, I want somebody, then sis, you're not going to the door. You're not going to knock on the door. Unless he's UPS. Sorry. I blacked out. He's not gone. You got to put yourself in a so there's a bad echo. I'm sorry. I don't know what the echo.
I don't hear an echo, but I'm a mute.
So every time you mute, the echo go away. I don't know if how you came in or if there's something else on. I don't know. I don't have nothing else on, but anyway, I don't know how we're going to. And where did you go? You come back on his Cocoa and bring LaTanya. Anyway, so I don't know how we get past all of that, and it's just crazy to me that we have to have these conversations about grown people. You scared to be vulnerable, and you're in a relationship. That's the thing that best messed me up. You're in a relationship and you're scared to be vulnerable. You're in a relationship where you're with a man and y'all are intimate sexually, and you'll let him enter you and be intimate that way, but you won't let him intimately get into your mind or you intimately get into his because you're scared of how he's going to react. You're scared that she might do whatever. That's crazy.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, because it's funny you said that.
I know you
said
that. Come on, bring it.
Listen.
I need some stuff.
When I was dealing with Stan, I want to say it was like 2019. I was on my way to see him. And I was on the highway. I was in my pastor house and I was sitting in my car talking to him. I remember the day. And I couldn't stop crying and I couldn't understand it. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. This is just so weird. I'm just all in my feelings. Oh my God, what is this vulnerable thing? He was like, just come down here. So the next day, I got on the highway. I was talking to my sister. I said, I don't understand what this is. The Lord is breaking me down so that I can be more vulnerable. I said, it's driving me crazy. This is not natural. All these tears. Why am I crying?
We had conversation.
Yes. So, and then when I really started expressing myself, Coco and them used to be like, oh, yeah. She cried today. Like, really? I
remember
could not
those conversations.
listen. I couldn't understand it. To this day, when I cry, it's still something in me that says this is not natural. I was telling Coco today. I said, Coco, I've never had panic attacks. Lately, I've been having these panic attacks. I don't know where they're coming from. Thursday, I had them so bad I didn't even know what day it was, and I just went into this crying spell, and I couldn't breathe. It was just crazy. I was like, "Who has panic attacks? I've never had them." So she began to share with me who has them. I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna need you to tell them to get it together because this is not gonna work for me. It's just not gonna work." Thursday, I had them so bad I almost passed out. I said, "It's not gonna work."
Mm-hmm.
But these tears, look, I probably could handle them better if it wasn't tears associated with it. Because I don't like to cry. So when you say being vulnerable, although I realize the Lord used sin to break me down to make me vulnerable, I don't like it, but I'll always be grateful because now I know what it means to be vulnerable. I don't like it in any way. I wasn't taught to be vulnerable. And most women wasn't. Not now. Coming up, they may not have seen their parents. My mama was a strong woman. I don't think I ever seen my mother cry.
Right.
So it's like, hey, why? I don't think I've seen any other woman in my family cry. Unless we were at a funeral.
And I'm like that. That's with my mom. I never thought that I never saw my mom unless it was at a funeral.
And even at a funeral, I never seen my mother cry because she would walk away. So that's just not a part that she showed me.
There are so many micro traumas in our lives. And if you think just about the micro traumas that you have in your life, and then open yourself up to see those in other people's lives, it'll just make you just want. It will make you just want to cry all the time, because it also brings this kind of companionship. It's like camaraderie with people, because then you realize I'm not by myself. Even if it's toxic, even if it's damaging to me, even if it's a trauma, I'm not alone. And so you have this kind of bond with another person. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to start. I don't know how we draw people into this space with us. I don't know how it's just so sad to me that a lot of women are going to go through life with nobody because they got this checklist that they made up when they were in high school, and you're never going to marry anybody from Boys to Men. Just get another checklist. They married. They already in relationships. Fix your lip. They not available.
They not cute either.
You got all these. You got this list that you had when you were younger. And he got to be this, and he got to be that. And your list should change as you grow, because a lot of that is just, and most of it is aesthetics. Because if I went by my list now, the man I want to be with would never wear anything except gray sweatpants. That's my truth. Debate. You can, okay, just put your hand toward the screen one more time. Just pray.
He must gonna be a personal trainer.
Yeah, that's, we working on that. But girl, listen. So your list. First of all, you shouldn't even have a list, because you're going to be disappointed, because they're not going to have most of the stuff on there. They might have one, And that's because, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because God is a comedian. He's hilarious. If you talk to most women who are in successful, healthy, good relationships, you know what they're going to tell you? This was not him. This is not who I would have picked. He was not the one. No, it was not love at first sight. No, it wasn't. It wasn't at second, third, or fourth, neither. But as I get to know, see what I said? Let me rewind that. As I got to know him, not biblically, but emotionally, spiritually, as I got to know him, I realized that my idea of who I wanted was wrong. Because it had nothing to do with the woman that I was becoming. It had everything to do with that teenage girl who wanted that long flowing wedding dress and 15 bridesmaids. And you ain't got 15 friends. And so we live in this world in our heads of wanting to just have everything put before us on a silver platter, but make sure that when they bring you the silver platter, that you got your phone on so you can take a picture. Why are we in the bedroom at the hotel on taking pictures of us at our anniversary? What happened to the moments that we share with a friend that have nothing to do with social media? I force myself not to take pictures of my food when it's good. I've done it. Don't get me wrong. I've done it in times of just loneliness and wanting somebody to talk to. But it's not what happened to moments alone in God where God is moving and it's just us? The other day was the first time I ever tried to draw people into a worship, and it didn't work because everybody thought I had lost my mind. So that won't happen again. But these moments, and it will happen like that because these moments are supposed to be private. These moments are supposed to be just between me, you, and God. Me and God. These are moments with your husband. Why we on y'all honeymoon with y'all? Why we on your anniversary with y'all? And if you by yourself, why we with you? And why is there 2 plates on that table? I won't see that nigga across this table because you got somebody in there. But a lot of people will say they're alone before they tell you they got a man because they know he might be somebody else's. I don't know who said that. Wait, put your thing back on. Don't play with me. I don't know why people do it. Or they on vacation. You by yourself. 14 cases in there. They're not all yours. Why both the pillows on the bed? Me. Because I'm looking at the entire this on my screen.
Wait, did you see the picture going around social media where the guy took a picture talking about he was on a business trip, and you could see, he had his mistress take the picture, and you could see her through the mirror taking the picture, and she naked.
Or there's one of this girl laying in bed talking about me and my babe, but in the mirror you can see her holding the phone up, taking the picture because there's no babe. We want so bad to be in relationships, or we want so bad to people to think that we're so happy this and other, and our lives are sinking into hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I like today, there's a good going on now where a father on the bus cursing him out because they were bullying his daughter and all this other stuff. And they were telling the dad he was wrong and all that other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, so first of all, nobody knows the whole story. Even though the people in the comments are saying they know, you don't, because you don't know you was on the bus. You wasn't on the bus. And my thing is, you have children that are 8 and 9 committing suicide because they're being bullied. So when the dad got tired of hearing his daughter being bullied, and he had already went to the parents, he had went to the principal, he had talked to the bus driver, and his daughter kept getting messed with. So he got on the bus and lost his temper. So you mad at the daddy, but if his daughter would have killed herself, you was gonna blame him for that too, because then he wasn't looking out for her. We've gotten so used to people being the bigger person and being politically correct and going through every avenue. Honey, I don't have no children, but I got nieces and nephews, and they'll tell you, my auntie went ham. I surely did. Who you talking to? And why you talking? Not to people I know. This is exactly why my mama stopped taking me places. And this is why when me and my apostle go places, she try her best to make sure she nice and she walk around and whatever, and she keep an eye on me because she know I'm watching people. And if you come at her like she's not an apostle, that's your grave. You dug. So you know, first I gotta tell her, go to the car. I'll be there in a minute. Here go the key. Go to the car, because I'm gonna be there in a minute. And I used to do the same thing with my mama. So now they don't like taking me places. Because you can disrespect me all you want to. But what you're not gonna do is have the people that I go to for comfort and love be upset, because I might need them. So you just disrupted your whole life because you was trying to prove a point of who you thought you was going to be that day. Oh, but Bobby 101 is a class that most don't want to take. But I'll give it freely. And this is the thing, people don't understand what loyalty is anymore. Don't have the words I love you come out of my mouth, out of Barbara or Bobby's mouth, and something go wrong in your life and you think I'm not coming. I don't know who lied to you, but they're a liar, because I'm coming. And loyalty has been replaced with, I'm only loyal as long as you're giving me what I'm asking you for. I'm only on your side if you answer your phone every time I call you, even though I know that you're going through something. But when you need me, I can't answer right now because I'm busy. That's what loyal has been replaced with. And then so let's go all the way back to the beginning of what we're talking about. Communication is just key to any relationship. And when one avenue doesn't work, just go around the other side. Open the other door. People have walked out of marriages over the stupidest thing. I've been telling them for years to put the top on the toothpaste. You know that ain't the issue. You know it's not putting the top on the toothpaste that's the issue. Figure out what the issue is. But we so busy trying to prove our point in this argument that we're not understanding that the argument started not because I want to have an argument, because it's something I want to say and I don't know how to give it to you. I don't know how to say it to you. And this is what I do with Anton all the time. If I get on the phone and the first thing he do is go off, I said, wait a minute. Who are you talking to? And then he'll stop for a minute, because to him, that's disrespectful. Because Anton don't like to be talked back to. So that's how I got his attention. And then I'll do this. I'll go back to being I'll pull the softness out of me. Because being aggressive with a person that's already aggressive and you know that person is aggressive, why would you do that? And he don't never listen. Because heifer, you ain't, I can't. He's not going to ever listen to you because you coming at him like he came at you. You supposed to be the peace. If you're a man, she come at you wrong, you supposed to be the other. That's when you bring out the 30% of your piece. Because she woke up that morning with 70%. I'm going to choose violence today. And so he wanted to say something to me. He upset, but he don't know how to, he don't want to do it. So the best thing to do is start an argument, and she won't try to dig into what I'm trying to. No, brother, I done figured that out. Okay, it took almost a year. It took over a year, but I figured it out. So I'll say, okay, stop. What you really mad about? I ain't mad about nothing. I said, okay, so I'm going to sit quietly on the phone until you're ready. And sometimes it takes almost the whole phone call before he'll say, all I wanted to do was talk to my son today, and she wouldn't let me talk to him, or she cut his phone off. I said, okay, so that's why you're mad. So let's talk about that. Do you want me to call your son and talk to him for a minute? Is there something particular you want to say? Or do you want me to do something or whatever? What can I do to make this better for you? And that conversation right there, I'll have somebody come in my inbox or whatever, and they'll say, girl, you're not his mama. You don't have to cater to him. He already been raised. He knew better to talk. The hell is wrong with y'all? You would rather be with somebody who you're not gonna talk to for the next 12 or 13 days because you didn't want to have the, and it wasn't me being the bigger person. It was me trying to say that I want to be with you for the rest of my life. And so if we solve this conflict now, we ain't got to do this no more. But people don't listen. All of this basically is they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the work. Being in a relationship is hard work. And when I say hard work, I'm not talking about you pushing against a brick wall. I'm saying it's hard work because it ain't them. Nigga, it's you. The hard work is you. You gonna have to learn. You are two different individual people trying to make one unit. It's like cutting an apple in half and then trying to put it back together with cake icing instead of super glue. It's still two halves of an apple. It's just been brought together with super glue. So now it's a whole apple. But it's still two separate things because you bringing everything you brought in, he bringing everything he brought in. But if all he has to hear about is what he has to do to make you better, and you don't want to hear nothing about what's going on in his life to make him, because there's a reason why he needs 16,000 other women. There's a reason why he don't want you to pat him on the back. There's a reason why he don't want you to rub his head that way. There's a reason why he don't want you to talk to him in that particular tone. It don't have nothing to do with you. It's why does that bother you that much? And some women are so scared to ask the reason why.
If he needs 16,000 other women, he need to be single.
No, that's not the point. That's not the point. Stop it. If I was near you, I'd pop you on your leg. Well, I need a switch. I need a switch. That is not the point. The point is, why does he need all of that attention? There's a reason for that. There's a reason that women manipulate men into trying to do what they want them to do. There's a reason why men have to have a lot of different. There's a song out. I hate this song. One of the songs is you have to remember that one monkey don't stop no show. I think that's the same song. That song said one monkey don't stop no show. You got this train gonna keep on rolling. He got one for this, he got one for that, and one for that. There's one woman that can do all of that. If you would be patient enough, if you would let her get to know you enough, if you would explain to him enough that this is me and this is what I need from you. And I tell every day, I try to tell Anton verbally, not thinking that he's going to assume verbally. Oh, look at my curl pattern. Oh, sorry, I got lost. I'm back. Look at it. Look at that. Okay, so I digress. I try to tell him verbally every day what I need. Shut up, Quint. What I need from him. You understand? Because you can't assume that a person knows what you need from them. Let's go all the way back again. This starts with your parents teaching you how to communicate. Stop telling your children shut up when they're trying to tell you something. Stop telling you what happens when that need is not fulfilled. If that need is not fulfilled, then it's time to move on. But at least give them a chance to learn how to do that, because most, if not all, behavior is learned. And so if they've never been taught that thing, and if you want to be with them, then you teach them that in a way that is loving, in a way that is nurturing. And this is from men and the side of both men and women. But that's not how women, you know what? I know who wrote this. That's not the point, Mr. Beatty. That's not the point. You don't know all women. Stop it. Because that's not the point. The point, and then the other thing is, we're not talking about other women. We're talking about the one you dealing with. And if you're with a person that is not a modern woman, is how you said that's not how modern women operate. If that is not a modern woman and she's not doing what you need her to do and you can't teach it to her, then it's time to move on. But if you want somebody to be with you, then you have to teach them how to be with you. If you want somebody to be in your life, then you have to teach them how to be in your life. How is that taking anything away from you? If you're creating a space for your own peace, that's the space that you're creating. That is the atmosphere that you're setting. And if they're acting like they don't want to learn that, or it's too much for them to, then it's time to move on. But only after giving it a try. And you don't know what most modern women want, because if you can get another man on here and who has a woman like that, and they'll tell you that's their woman does exactly that. So you can't say that's how modern women act, because I don't act like that. I'm not like that.
You ain't a modern woman though.
I'm not modern. Do you see this curl pattern?
That's not what I mean though.
I am a modern woman. I'm modern. I know how to text, nigga.
That ain't what I mean though. That's not what I mean.
We having a conversation, so talk to me.
I mean these ones that talk about, well, I don't need no man, and then all of a sudden when somebody show interest in them, and then they have this long list of Lord knows whatever, and then that dude tries his damnedest to fulfill that long list, and then come up short, and then
that's where you wrong. That's where the problem comes in, Fred. Trying to fulfill the list of a woman is the wrong thing to do. You trying to fulfill a list that she made God knows how long ago. We just talked about this. How long ago? That's the wrong move. Why are you trying to fulfill her list? Because if you're not who that person is, then trying to become that person, you're gonna screw that up. You know why? It ain't gonna last, because it ain't you. So if the only list or anything that you should be trying to fulfill is just being you. And if you're not enough for that modern woman, then go get you some. Go get the one that is linked to you in mind, spirit, body, and soul. Don't tell me she ain't out there, because whatever God do, He got an opposite of it. She out there.
I feel you on that, but that's just, I don't know, something that I see a little bit more often than not.
And that's fine. But this is my thing. Are you in search of a woman?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Say that again.
Are you looking for a woman right now?
You heard it right the first time. You heard it when she asked.
No.
Okay, so you're not looking for a woman right now. So what other women are dealing with, and modern women, none of this should be coming out of your typing fingers right now. Because all you should be dealing with is the one that you're dealing with right now. Is this woman what you want and what you need in your life right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the issues that I'm talking about, you don't have. And so this is not your lane no more, because you're in a relationship.
I mean, now if you have those issues, then the question is, what are you? This is the thing. You got some people that bring. I'm gonna use what you just used. You said list, right? I'm not gonna bring a list from my previous marriage into the new one. You catch what I'm saying?
Yep.
So where I had things that I wish that the first one would have added up to or could have done, you don't bring that into this. You don't bring that into your new, because when you bring it into the new, it just causes issues, because now you got somebody still trying to fulfill something that you wanted to be fulfilled by somebody else.
Right.
So that entails makes it unfair for that individual because they don't even know that they fulfilling somebody else's list for you.
Touche. I mean, you got me on
You
that one. I
catch
mean,
what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, am I doing what I want to do for her? Or is she asking me to do certain things based off
Because the
of
last person that wasn't able to
previous?
fulfill that. Yes.
Right. Based off of previous. And you have a lot of people that bring that to you and you are unaware. And this is where we go back to what she was saying earlier, where if you got two broken people in a relationship trying to come together, okay, one actually trying to heal and the other one don't want to let go, then it's not going to work because that's when you're going to get this manipulative spirit that's going to try to manipulate you to keep you around. As soon as you do something they don't like, here come the manipulation and oh, woe is me type of situation. And then you're going to go out your way to try to make them feel better. And as soon as you make them feel better, you are now in that toe of, okay, you're doing what I want you to do. And just as soon as you do something I don't like, I'm going to put you back through the ringer again.
And this all goes back. I know people think we all off the subject, but I'm not. I'm right here. I'm still in my wheelhouse. I'm still in my lane. And it all goes back to how they were taught to communicate. This
Right.
I'm still in my wheelhouse, and my wheelhouse is this. If you sending your children out at 16, 18, or 18, you just putting them out in the street, and they've never had a one-on-one back and forth dialogue with another adult, their mama or their daddy, then how are they going to do that out in the real world with another person? When
Right.
communication is the key, because I didn't raise up in the house with you. I don't know you. I'm trying to get to know you. But every time I ask you a question or try to do whatever, you run out the door. Or you have learned how to manipulate a conversation to the point where it's always flipped back on me.
Right.
And so we're back where we started at. Where do we begin? How do we draw people into listen, let's just start at our house. Let's start in our house. Let's do that. Because what charity starts at home and then it spreads abroad. So let's do this the right way. So in our own homes, are we having these hard, tough conversations? Are we willing to make the other person upset enough or upset to the point of knowing that it's not me wanting to make you upset. I just want to know who you are. I just need to know who you are so that I can govern Baptist people say it, honey. I need to be able to govern myself accordingly.
Right.
Because what I'm doing obviously is not conducive to us being in a great, wait a minute, let me take that back, in a healthy relationship. Because just because you can say you're in a relationship and you on Facebook posting pictures and I love you, boo, and this, that, and the other, and I'm in a great, that does not mean that is healthy. That doesn't mean that, because if you need validation from others that your relationship is great, you got more problems than we can help you with on this podcast.
Right. But see, okay, so let's go into what you just said because I wasn't up here in the beginning. So if you go based off of what you just said, at the end of the day, I will be that person that will address those type of questions because I'm gonna be like, okay, what is it that you really want? Do you even know what you want? Because if you're not sure, then that means you don't know.
Right.
And then in life, I was listening to the conversation that you and Quint was having a little while ago, and I agree. I am not a product of my environment at
Right.
all. The
Mm-hmm.
environment I grew up in was trashy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was trash. At the end of the day, um, I'm so glad that I had outside sources that helped me not be a product of that. You catch what I'm saying? And if it wasn't for the outside sources, could I be a product? Probably, maybe, who knows? But the good thing about it is the Lord didn't allow me to be there.
Right.
So I'm glad that I'm not there. And just like you said, when I walk in the room, yeah, my goal is if the atmosphere ain't right, my goal is to make sure it shifts so it can be conducive for me. And and I bring whatever I need with me in the room. And so it's the same thing. There's just like we are up here on this panel. We're all friends and we're all, you can pretty much call us coworkers, right? So we're all coworkers. At the end of the day, if you have an issue with something that's happening in our job atmosphere, we're going to address the issue. We're going to clear the elephant in the room. Because at the end of the day, if nobody addresses it, it just festers and it gets bigger. And then there's going to be an issue by the time somebody decides to touch it, and it's going to be touchy for everybody. No need of allowing something to get so far without doing anything about it. Just like as you come up, you got the people say, "Oh, okay, well, what happens at home, stay at home. Don't open your mouth when you go outside this door."
Yeah, we bet. Yeah.
That I can't stand. I don't like that term. I don't even like that statement. At the end of the day, the stuff that happened at home is the reason why your child jacked up.
Yeah. And most of the time that is said because something is going on in the home. Because
Right.
if nothing had been going on in home, then that wouldn't have been that would have been a statement that would not have been necessary. And so we're back to we have to start um, um, opening ourselves up to other people and to letting other people in to some of the things that we are to I don't know. Y'all already know that I'm not a secret person. Um, I don't have any, not really. There are things that I don't talk about, not because they're a secret, but because they're not a part of what I'm trying to achieve. And a lot of times, and some things I don't talk about because it ain't my lane. I don't know nothing about that. You understand? It ain't got nothing to do with me. Wait a minute. Stephanie. Doctor. I call both of them doctor because they just the doctor pages. The doctor pages people.
Yes.
Okay. Number one, I think she was trying to say requirements should be made. I gotta put my glasses on.
You want me to read it? Or you
You
got
want
it?
to show off? No, go ahead. This is why I don't deal with
No,
light
I
skinned
was supposed to.
people. No, this
That's
is
why I
why
asked you. You want
no,
me
this
to
is
read
light skinned people. You just do it.
it? Okay. So it
You
says
just do
number
it.
one requirement should be make sure a person you're dealing with knows themselves and are content. Don't
Mm,
get with anyone who is looking for you to complete them.
mm.
Know thyself and heal thyself, then get at me. When you know thyself, you can communicate better.
You better preach in here today. Exactly. And what do we say all the time? If you don't know who you
Mhm.
are,
That's it.
there is no way you're going to tell me that you know who that person is. And I don't care if it's your child. If my mama, I thought I knew who my mama was. And my mama was pretty much sure she knew who I was until we talked before she died. And we realized we done wasted a whole lifetime with each other. I'm not going to cry. Not knowing who we were because we didn't
Right.
want to ask tough questions. I learned how to navigate around my mom by not asking her things I knew would upset her. So as long as I was a certain way with her and talked about only a certain few things, me and my mom was best friends. But if I got angry enough and saw that it was doing stuff that was irritating her, and I went in, we would stop talking for months at a time. And the time we wasted instead of asking, well, why you like that? Why you only do this? Why you talk like that? Why that make you mad? What you so upset for? Why you treat the girls different than the boy? If I had just asked those tough questions, and like my friend, like where I stay now, this is my godparents' house. This is my god sister's room that I have until God bless me where I'm going to live. They know everything about their mama. What school she went to, what she wanted to be when she grew up. They so close. They talk to each other at least 4 or 5 times a day. Same thing with my other godparent, my apostle and all that. And I think I cleave to them because of how their family dynamics is. And I think I cleave to Fred and Coco and all of them because of the dynamic that we have on this platform as a family. because it's just I'm sometimes all I do is just read y'all talking to each other, and I don't want to enter. And it's funny because I know I'm part of that because I know Fred will fuss, but I'm Fred. I do know that I'm a part of that, but I don't. I'm gonna cry. What the hell? Anyway, I don't interrupt because I don't want to. I don't want to. I feel like sometimes if I come in, I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna mess the conversation up. And so sometimes I just read y'all and just listen. It's not listening, but it is listening. I just listen to y'all talk to each other, and it just fascinates me. I'm fascinated. And I look at my godmama, both of them, and I watch them text their daughters, or they talking on the phone to their children, and every day, almost every hour or so they talk. And I'm fascinated by that because I didn't have it. And it sometimes it makes me feel really, really, really alone and just invisible. But sometimes it brings out this such a deep love for them because they love each other like that. I know that sounds so weird. I don't even know if I'm wording it right. But we don't, and we're all vulnerable with each other. They're vulnerable with each other, and even in this on this platform, on this show, we're vulnerable. Dr. Page, we are very vulnerable with each other. We say things to each other that I don't think most people who, and let me tell you, we've never met each other in person. I think I met Coco once or twice in person.
Twice. Yep.
And Quint, I think I've met maybe 3 times in person. Fred, I've never met Fred in person. No, I've
Nope.
never met Lala. I've never met Coach. I've
Coach.
never met, and these people can tell you stuff about my personal life and my personal struggle that people that live in the area that I live in this house wouldn't know. And so that is not something that is done on purpose. It is just something that has happened because I have grown to trust these people with the intimate. Say it. That's exactly what it is, Dr. Page. I feel like I'm in a safe place. And that is how family should feel. You should not be with a man or your husband or your boyfriend or your whatever, and you scared to ask them a certain question. But you'll let them put their penis in your body. Or you shouldn't be a man who's scared to ask a woman or whatever, and you'll put your penis in her body. You'll give her that, but won't give her your mind. You'll give her that, but you won't give her a secret.
I don't see how people's relationships flirt. I don't see how people call themselves having a relationship with no communication. Like, and I've seen it. I have seen husband and wife units that don't really talk to each other. And I'm like, how does this work? Y'all act like y'all roommates. Y'all don't act like y'all married.
Yes, that's the word. Use the roommate.
Yeah, and they act like they roommates. They don't act like they married. And I've seen it like multiple times. And I'm like, how does this work? That don't work. That wouldn't work for me. I'm sorry. Like, me and my husband, we get up in the morning. Hello, babe. Good morning, babe. That's what we do. When he leaves to go out the door, all right, baby, it's my time to go. Okay, have a good day at work. Blah 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 blah. And then every break, I get a phone call. Like, but there's nothing like, I don't see how people don't communicate and you call yourself having a relationship.
And y'all
Even
been married for 10 and 20 years. And then y'all have these big old anniversary parties and y'all see, and this is the thing about my family. During holidays they were the best time for me because we faked it. We faked being we did. We faked being talking to each other and being friends. That was the only time I was really friends with my people. And that was the only time my mama and I would have like a conversation. It wasn't about nothing but what we was going to fix and how we was going to warm the food up and who was going to sleep where. But it was this fake thing. But even though it was fake, it was what I wanted. And I knew it was going to end. But think of all the time that was wasted in that fakery. When it could have been real if my mama had taught me how to have a conversation with her. Because I can go downstairs and talk to my godmama about anything.
Right.
And my apostle, she'll tell me sometimes, I don't have to know everything, babe. I don't. I don't have to know that right there. You could have kept that. No. You could have
like
kept that.
My mama too. She'd be like, You know,
Yeah,
I be having conversations with my mama. She be like, "Daughter, I'm yet praying for you." Like that's what she be like. You
So
know,
so so I have so Dr. Page. I hope she's I can't I
she
hate
said,
this because
yeah, hold
I
on.
can't
Let me read what she
go ahead.
said. She just put something else in there. She said,
Okay.
many people have never learned themselves. They operate from other people's perspectives and opinions. I believe everyone should be by themselves for a season.
Yeah.
How many people go from person to person, always looking for someone else, never learning to appreciate ourselves? Love yourself first, or you can't really love others.
Now, let's see. I wish she was on here so she could answer. I wish she would have came in. So this is the question to you, doctor. If all you've ever learned how to do with yourself is dislike yourself, how do you break the because that's a mindset, right? How do you break that uh thought pattern? Because there's someone that I care about a great deal, but that person has a idea about himself. That person has an idea about themselves that is like, whatever goes wrong is my fault. Whatever happens is my fault. And I have to keep on making up for it over and over and over and over again. It's not just an apology. It's I got to keep on fixing it. I got to make it better because obviously it's my fault because that's what happened last time and it was my fault. So how do you help, how do you bring a person out of themselves enough to realize that though it may have been your fault the first time or the second time or the third time, that failure is not you. It is just an event that happened in your life. That's
Oh,
my question.
that's a touchy one.
It is.
Very, very,
Until she
very
can
tough.
answer, I'm gonna say this. First of all, in life, you have a lot of people that allow you to feel like you are the
Mm,
failure or you
mm,
are the problem, but
mm.
the problem is really them.
Yee.
And so when they do that, they what's the word that I'm looking for? They
Project.
they that or but they go about life using you as the scapegoat
Mm-hmm.
and never dealing with their issue. So pretty much throughout life, the problem was them, but they put it on you. And now that has became your burden that you didn't have to bear
And you
ever.
took it. Yep.
And you
You
took
took
it.
it. Yep.
And you took it. So now with you taking it, you've been doing it so long, you don't know how to break that shackle and drop them chains off. So you don't know how to do that. And that's the biggest thing is because you've grown so accustomed to it, you don't know how to let it go and walk away from it. That takes it That's gonna be like a place of deliverance. You know what I'm saying? For that particular individual. And that's what you're gonna have to do. It's gonna be a place of deliverance because that is something and that's a total mindset shift that person is gonna have to have in order to get away from that. If they
But
never shift their mind from it, they're gonna continue to think that way.
but understand in that answer, which was freaking awesome. Um, I you have to understand that the struggle with the things that go on in your life are yours.
Right,
You just like I told Quinn earlier, and and I hope she didn't take it the wrong way, but it is what it is. I'm not the product of anybody else's environment but my own.
right,
I am not the I'm not the product of abuse. That's not who God told me I was going to be. I, just like Jesus wasn't a product of his environment. Them people where he grew up was poor, and they was what do you call it? Blue collar workers.
right,
They worked with their hands or whatever. The man was a carpenter. He was an artisan. He built furniture up until God decided to tell him, "Listen, it's time for you to do what I'm asking you to do." But up until then, he was just an apprentice to his daddy. And so he might have been uh in that environment. But he when he came out of that environment, went in that synagogue and was talking to them preachers. Oh, honey, he was not a product of no environment then. That was a 12-year-old boy talking to people who had been educated in Ethiopia, and he had no education, none whatsoever.
Right.
So he might have
I
been.
got a question.
Yes, sir. Hold your
Yeah.
hand up. Come on,
I got a question.
bring it.
So this may seem a little counterproductive, and
No, talk about it.
nah, but I want to open up a can of worms. But this thought just came to my head.
Okay.
So isn't I want to word this in a way where it don't sound.
Well, I'm
Okay. We shout. All right. Go ahead.
So I want to say this in a way where it doesn't sound facetious or it doesn't sound offensive. So I know we're talking about, healing and moving forward and stuff like that, but isn't, and I know Bobby said something about not being, not being a product of her environment, which is, and that's something I'll acknowledge. We can agree to disagree on that, on the finer aspects of that later.
Yeah, I was going to ask her tomorrow. All right, I'm doing my show, but thank you for calling me, Sharon. Remind me. All right, baby.
Yeah, you got about to say because you finished that and then unmuted. But go ahead.
I
Go
did.
ahead, Fred.
Was I unmuted anyway? I'm sorry. I
Yes,
love you,
you did.
Fred.
You were
I
not.
thought it was the little. I'm sorry, y'all.
You good. So I get the part about, not being a product of your environment. Like I said, we can talk about the finer aspects of that in a later time.
Okay.
But shouldn't the healing process consist of kind of accepting that part of it, accepting that part of who you are, or at least
Accepting what part?
acknowledging that part that that made that because people say product of environment. I say experience. I say experiences. Because
Okay.
people can say product of environment all they want. I mean, it's still an experience. But shouldn't that process consist of acknowledging those experiences?
Are you trying to say like
Okay,
when you
hold on, wait a minute before you start, Bobby. Wait. Apostle Stephanie Page said if you send her the invite, she'll join.
I don't know. Do I send it or Fred?
It don't matter.
Let me see. I have it on my.
Because I can't do it. I'm not on my computer. I'm talking now from my tablet, so I can't send it.
I got
it.
it.
You still have the email address?
I do. I'm finna send it to
He
her.
sent it to you now, sweetheart. I didn't think the show was gonna go this long.
If you send it, if you inbox it to me, Fred, I can send it to her in Messenger.
You know what? I did. You know what? I do have her as a friend on Messenger. I'm finna
Let her know. Send it to her on Messenger.
All right, thank you.
Apostle Page, I'm gonna send you this invite on. I'm gonna send you this link on our channel, our Messenger thread. Just look out for it in the next couple of minutes.
So what I think Fred is trying to say is like he's saying accepting that part of you. Yeah, but when you're saying accepting, I think what really is happening when you say that is that you are acknowledging that this is a part of who I am. And so I need help getting. It's like being an alcoholic. You can't be healed from alcoholism if you never admit that you're an alcoholic. You can't never admit that you can't never not become a non-manipulator if you don't admit I'm a manipulator. I try to make people do stuff by making them feel sorry for me, or I know how to push the right button. You have yes, of course, Fred. You have to accept that that's a part of who you are, but you also have to accept the fact that if you don't like that part of yourself, that you have to get rid of that part of yourself. That's where the healing comes in. But the other thing about that is some people, like this, one of my ex's mom used to go get prayed for the same thing over and over and over and over again. And finally I was like, why you keep getting paid for that? Prayed for that. You done you love that thing. You done put it in some swaddling clothes. You feed it. That demon that bothers you and make you walk around the streets like you homeless and you know you got a place to go and sit outside when you know and do things and separate yourself from your family, that you love that demon because you like being that victim. And some people love being a victim. Some people
Right.
love being the one that always needs support. That some people love always being the one that need help. Some people love that.
Right.
It's almost like Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where some people harm their own children just because they like the attention. Girl, look at the hair on this lady here. Oh, I'm jealous. I said, see, this is what I told you about my curl pattern. She came on here with a curl pattern that changed my last name. I'm definitely gonna change my last name. Girl, you look beautiful. But anyway, so some people, it's like shut up, Fred. I'm trying to be an adult. It's almost like Munchausen, what is it? Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Syndrome. Hmm.
That is when a parent will hurt their children um in order for because they like the attention that they as a parent get having a sick child. And some people are like that. Some people got, I'm gonna preach that one time. I gotta write that down. Some people have Munchausen syndrome. They like the attention because they're with somebody who's abusive. You understand what I'm saying? They like the attention because they're with somebody who treat them like crap. Because their friends gather around them in this loving way. So why don't, because and then you ask, well, why you don't leave him? Why should I? When you still support me in the foolishness.
Right.
Why should I try to be a better person when you still support me in the fact that I told you I'm gonna put my child at 18 and they not coming back? Or I don't speak to my children no more. Or I don't speak to my spouse when I'm mad with them. You're supporting me in my foolishness. So my Munchausen syndrome is working. So why should I change? Why should I become a different person? Why should I admit any wrongdoing? When every time you support me in that, every time you got my back in that, you telling me you right.
But
Right.
that goes with personal accountability first and foremost, and then also the person that you're with is supposed to hold you accountable and pull you to the rug when you screw up. If
Okay,
you,
but catch what you just said.
Thank you. Say it again.
I
Catch
said
what you just said, sir.
personal accountability.
Okay, but that's the whole point. People don't like to be accountable, and they really don't like the word responsibility.
Now what it have to
Better
do with them?
better
Because
get used to it.
we good at this. But
Well,
when it's
this
time to do
I
this,
I I think
go ahead.
it's even deeper than that.
Hmm.
I think that we have, as a society, have adopted the mindset that if we make a mistake or if we do something wrong, we're a bad person. We're defective. We're throwaway. We're not redeemable.
Ooh, preach.
And we've never gotten to the point where real love forgives, it accepts, it recognizes that everybody has issues and differences. Now we accept you with the difference. We're going to love you through the difference. We're going to be honest with you as we point out and you deal with your differences, but we're not going to reject you, desert you, ostracize you, or beat you up because you're in process. In the African American community, there we're still dealing with PTSD, post
Period.
traumatic slavery
Period.
syndrome. We are still dealing
Period.
with it. We are still dealing with the ignorance, the things, our culture that had been stripped from us, the love, understanding how to love ourselves. Listen, we're just coming out from under the bondage of white Jesus, that God Himself don't look like us.
Ooh.
God Himself looks like somebody that oppresses us. So therefore, there's something that must be wrong with us, because of, white Jesus don't love us. So
Oh, wake it
so
up, wake
we're still dealing with
It's
that.
the truth.
We're still dealing with it. We haven't been honest with the fact that our African American men are just getting to the point where they're actually able to allow themselves to love their children and be vulnerable with their children, because post traumatic slave syndrome, fathers would be torn away from their kids. They were used just to have children and then purposely moved away from them. They were taught not to get emotionally attached,
Yes.
otherwise, you would be destroyed. All
Mhm.
of these things are in our genetic makeup, they're in our mental and emotional makeup. We
up.
haven't been honest with it, and we have not been allowed to love one another through the healing. We've been taught instead to demonize, villainize, and hate one another because of the issues that need to be healed because of past trauma.
Right. And the thing is, we're waiting on um and I know that it's 2022, but I promise you, some of these black people is waiting on Swing Low Sweet Chariot to swing down and let them ride. And I keep trying to tell them he ain't sent a chariot since Enoch. So y'all, no, stop, Pastor, stop. He ain't sent a listen, man. Y'all stop that, man. He ain't sent a fire to get nobody since what's the man name? He saw that.
But isn't that a way to diffuse people? Isn't that a way to stop people from doing the work that they need to do for themselves to be healed when they're programmed to wait for somebody else to come to do it for them?
And it's like being kidnapped. It's like being kidnapped. You got kidnapped and you got put in the room. It's a set of keys up on the thing up there. You gonna wait. Cause my baby said he gonna come get me because we got my back. The key right there, girl. But that's what some of us do. Some of us, the way is clear. You can get out. The lane is open up, and the only thing you got to do is the only thing you have to give up is being the old you.
Yes,
that's it.
That's it. That's all you got to give up is give up the old you and grab the new you. But you know what these heifers will do? They'll put the new them on layaway. I can't. Go ahead. I can't. They'll put the new them on layaway.
Layaway. Oh my God.
Instead of paying, Jesus paid the whole price. It was no layaway. Right. He paid the whole price. So in order for me to get from the old me to I got to pay the whole price. I got to get to know the whole me. But you're going to put it on layaway. I'll just buy the pants part of it this week. And I'll come get the I'm serious.
Yeah, but it goes back to, and I'm gonna say this also. There hasn't even really a lot of times been a safe place of healing, even within the church.
Right.
Because as soon as you come forth with your issue, you're talked about, gossiped about, set aside, and made to feel like you're less than, so that someone else that's also dealing with that will be able to get a one up on you so that they don't have to feel and deal with the things that they have to deal with as well.
Right.
So we've been in that perpetual cycle of look at somebody else so that you don't see me, because I'm believing that I'm defective because I've been programmed to think that I'm defective, instead of understanding, no, I'm not defective. And this is what I tell people all the time. God himself is working on me to both will and do according to his good pleasure. I am fearfully and wonderfully made from the womb. So what that tells me, especially when God is not going to stop working on me until he's finished that which he began. What that tells me is that I'm God's masterpiece and he's working on me. Who are you to criticize God's masterpiece?
Right.
Who are you to criticize what God is working on? Who am I to criticize what God is working on? When we can look at ourselves as masterpieces that God is working on, that he's putting together, he knows the plan, he knows the end result, he knows the ins and outs. He's not going to stop until he finishes it, and I am in process until God says I'm done. Nobody is going to say that I'm not good enough.
But isn't that I wrote it down, but it's not how I wanted to say it. Those attributes that you gave of not wanting to look within yourself, of not wanting to, man, you was a beautiful woman. Did you understand that? Okay. So anyway, no. Okay. Well, let me preface that by saying, because this day and age is 2022. I like men in gray sweatpants. But you are a beautiful woman. I just want to say that.
Honey, I appreciate the compliment, and you are beautiful too. Listen.
Thank you, girl. Look, did you see the cap? Did you see the cap? I'm I'm mad with you. But what those attributes that you named about looking into yourself and people criticizing you and you not wanting people to see the real you, isn't that one of the things? Isn't that one of the issues that Fred was talking about in his podcast when he was talking about the fact that that this would be one of the reasons why people don't go to church, because I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about what you see. So aren't those the worst things that a pastor or a leader can have?
Well, the thing is, again, we've been programmed to look for defects in others instead of realizing that that's not what God called us to do.
Right.
And we look for defects in others so that we don't have to deal with the issues within ourselves, because we've also been, again, taught to believe that if you're not perfect, then you're defective.
Then how do you
And not
become a
understanding
leader
that the
over people?
perfection actually comes through the unification of all of us, but that's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah, but how do you become a leader or a pastor when you have these issues, and when the issue is that you can't admit what is going on with you until somebody find out, until somebody pull your coat, somebody removes the veil over whatever you got going on.
But that again is because of the structure that has been established.
Yep.
The structure that is established doesn't allow people to be human and allow God to do the work in them, while we are long suffering and waiting for God to finish the work that He began in everyone. We don't allow people to be real with their stuff so they can deal with it. We don't allow people to be healed from the deep-rooted issues and the traumas that cause them to be as they are.
Yep.
We don't give people the space to do that. And the church is supposed to be the place where no matter what, you're loved. Period. That's God says love. He goes, this command I give unto you. You love God, you love one another. Well, love is patient. Patient with what? Other people crap, other people issues, other people's ups and downs, other people's faults and fallacies. Love is kind. Love is long suffering. Love is patient. All of these things are telling you that people are not going to be perfect. And when you're dealing with people, you're going to have to deal with some stuff. But are you going to allow the nature of God Himself to dwell within you, to where as you deal with people with their stuff, recognizing that they're people, God is still working on them. And baby, I'm going to love you anyway.
Hence the word grace.
Hence the word grace.
And I said this Wednesday, we don't give, first of all, we don't give ourselves enough grace, and we sure don't give, and we damn sure don't give other people enough grace.
Oh no. And because we don't give other people grace, because we use their issues to boost our egos. Exactly. Because and by looking at other people, boosting our egos, and not looking at ourselves.
But this is why I hate the saying, somebody got it worse than me. Somebody got it worse than you. I hate when people tell me that, because and I'm just being, this is my truth. I don't care who got it worse than me. And the reason I don't is because I'm dealing with this in me. Deal with me, help me deal with this. Don't telling me that you ain't gonna be, that you're not the first and you're not gonna be the last. That's not helping me. That ain't helping me. That's not helping me. When they told me I had cancer, and people were saying, okay, so just calm down, and I said, and I didn't want to lose my breast because I don't have no children, and so my body, the feminine parts of my body, was what made me feel like I was a woman. Before God explained it to me another way. But before that, them telling me I'm losing my sisters. Do you know how good I was to them? These $50 bras, sis, and you're gonna take them. And so in all of that, they would tell me, well, you ain't the first girl, you ain't the last. How is that helping me? I never tell people that. I never say, well, somebody got it worse than you. They don't care. When you're in a situation where you're going through pain and hurt, the last thing I want to hear about is, and this is just me personally, the last thing I want to hear about is that somebody else is going through this pain. Because then the empath in me is and now I'm worse. because now I know that I not only am I suffering, but somebody I can't help is suffering too.
But that's a nonchalant answer though. That's to
That's
me
what people I've been
that's a
hearing that since I got
nonchalant
since I
response.
got diagnosed with cancer. I've been hearing that.
Yeah, they just didn't know what to say, baby. Give them grace.
Exactly.
No,
And
no,
They,
it,
no.
they just didn't know.
These are these people with cancer who done went through the journey already.
I understand, but they still didn't know what to say. So you give them grace.
exactly.
You
And
got
that's
to
what we
give.
that's and so now you're back. So now you're back at the very beginning of what we were talking about.
Hmm.
And all of this, I think, starts at home. I think that parents have, and to me, this is all plantation speak because only the master of somebody who they think they own tells another person to shut up when they're trying to explain to them what's going on. This is mama. This is what really happened. Shut up. Adults talking. That is a plantation. If that ain't honey, if that ain't Jimmy Crack Corn, go get the cotton seed. I don't know what it is because you you would only muzzle something that you think you own, that you think you have that much control over, and you don't own your children. They're a gift, and you see. I don't have children, so I try not to go. I go back from that because I don't have children, and so I try to stay off of parenting things. I have to go by how my mom was with me, and my mom was very little conversation. And by the time I was 18 and I got molested, she didn't believe it. And
Yeah.
she didn't believe I had been molested until they tried to get my sister, which is
Hmm.
my sister, her favorite. So that's when she believed it. And then as I grew older, I thought, maybe my mama right. Maybe I did make that up. Maybe that didn't really, maybe that didn't really happen. And I was in church. We were at a funeral, and it was just me and one of the mothers. The body was in the front. We was waiting for everybody to come. And she said, "Come here, let me tell you something. Get down on your knees." And I got I put my arm on her shoulder, on her leg. I said, "Yes, ma'am." I was 21. And you know what she said to me? She said, and nobody knew. Nobody knew. She said, "That man did tell me. That man did." She just went on and on. And all I could do was cry. Because that's when I realized that God knew exactly who I was. But I did not love God at that time. I was very angry. Because my thing is, if you knew, why would you let that go on for 7 years? And then go to cousins that they did it. And then be raped by I could not understand any of it until I got older. You know what I realized when I turned 46? That I don't go through for me. Now, all of this is to say that wouldn't all of this have been, wouldn't a lot of the stuff that I went through have, could have been avoided had been able, if I had been afforded the time of day to listen to me and to ask questions. But now in Black communities, Dr. Page, what they tell you, don't ask God, don't question God. He made me. Who else am I asking?
Yeah, and see, I can totally empathize. I went through that also as a child, and had to go through inner healing and deliverance to come out to the other side. But there are a lot of things that I learned throughout time in regards to, like I said, the PT slave, syndrome. What we don't understand is even that, that our great grandmothers, our great great grandmothers, they couldn't report a rape for fear that their families would get murdered. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Butler.
Yeah, I've
Hmm.
seen it.
Yeah, where when his wife got raped and he knew she was getting raped and he spoke up and he got killed,
Mm-hmm.
that put something in their minds to just be quiet and it'll go away. It happened repeatedly. They were systemically programmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went from generation to generation to generation. Fear systemically instilled in people, generation to generation to generation. So now, when we're at the point where we're seeing the generational traumas and the generational curses that we've been dealing with, and we are systematically uprooting them, calling them out, saying, listen, this happened, let's talk about it, put it on the table, let's get real with it, and let's deal with it. The generations before us are still dealing in fear. They're still dealing with fear. Just be quiet. Just act right. Don't say nothing. Stand up straight. Don't move. Don't talk back. Don't do this. Why? For fear that if you do speak out, something bad is going to happen to you.
Right.
So praise God that now when we're seeing that, and it's like, I'm not going to be in bondage to fear. I'm not going to allow your fear and your trauma to continue to traumatize me. I'm going to be real with it. I'm going to call it out. Now, I'm also going to forgive you because I recognize that you were not equipped to deal with the trauma and the systemic curses that you had no idea. You're doing what mama did, what grandma did, what great grandma did. This is all you know to do. But praise be to God that in this age, we're like, no, it stops now. And we have a lot of curse breakers that are stepping up to shift the tide. We're not going to be quiet. We're not going to go along to get along. We're not going to say that this is something and we can't find it nowhere in the word that it is what it is. And we just doing it because it's what we always did and because they said that's what we're supposed to do. Nope, I ain't going with that. I'm going to call truth what truth is. I'm going to call it what it is. I'm not just going to sit down and let things happen because it's the way it's always been. And that there, though, let me tell you what that's rooted in. That's rooted in a generation that's coming to say, listen, I love myself. I'm not going to continue to stay in bondage to somebody else's bondage. I love myself too much to remain there. So not only am I going to speak truth to this lie, but then I'm going to do something else. I'm going to forgive you so I can be released from your lie.
And
That's
so
it right there.
how do we this is my last question because it's getting late. It's been over 3 hours, child. How do we get to a place where we stop having women's conferences and men's conferences? I can't understand why we would have a women's conference and not invite the spouses of those men to that conference, because your wife will admit in a conference when they say tell your neighbor that, but won't come home and admit to you that same thing that traumatizes her. So why would we're having these women conferences and a whole bunch of women getting together? And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you from experience. And it's this lesbianic thing going on in these conferences. This is why I don't have no friends. I'm sorry, but you have all of these women in this love fest, and there are no men there to witness and to understand that this is who we are as women. And then you have these male bonding things with this little tinge of pink fairy dust homosexual thing going on, because they loving on each other and this my bro and this that and the other and you know I'm still on the leggings. I can't get over the leggings because those are leggings. They look like jeans on the outside, but bruh, those are leggings. And then you have them carrying the pocketbook that they say is a satchel, but it's got glitter on it. It's a purse, bruh. It's bedazzled. It's a pocketbook. And so you have these two separate conferences with men telling men how to treat a woman and women telling women how to treat a man. And Steve Harvey is not the one. First of all, Think Like a Man is the worst book ever written, because the only man that should think like a man to get a man is a homosexual. Because a woman to get a man, Y'all stop holding your head like that. This is on YouTube.
Oh God.
I cannot.
Why would a woman have to think like a man to get a dude?
I can't.
If you a woman should be thinking like a woman to get a man. And you can invite Steve Harvey on the show. I'm cool. Because a woman should not be thinking like a man. The only way a man should think like a man is a dude trying to get a dude.
Ooh-wee.
Because women, we are a whole different species of animal. So if I want a man, thinking like a man is the worst thing that I could do, because being a man is not what that man wants unless he's gay.
Well, let me say this.
Ooh-wee.
I personally don't think that there's any one particular straight line of a man thinking or one particular straight line of a woman thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there are many things that we have attributed to, male, or men do this and women do that,
I
and
got
women
you.
do that
This
and
way.
men do this.
Mhm.
Again, women cook. I know many men that cook better than women.
Yes.
And many different things. Women don't fix cars and women don't drive trucks. That's all a bunch of lies. So these are a lot of societal standards that are not necessarily do we hold to. But in regards to women conferences and men conferences, I think what is really just trying to be established really is a safe place. And many women don't necessarily feel safe speaking about personal issues or things that they're dealing with women, with men around. They'll clam up. So I hear what you're saying. I believe that maybe there will be breakout rooms, maybe, where you'd have women will go discuss tech issues and then maybe bring it back to the table and then put it on the table for the men to hear
That's what I'm
and
talking about.
discuss.
That's
I
what
can
I'm talking about.
understand that.
Mhm.
But the reason why a lot of times, and to be totally honest with you, because of the societal positions, men and women a lot of times deal with different things and deal with different stressors, deal with different issues, even physically. I personally I don't know, I cannot in any way tell you what a man deals with. Let's say if he had ED.
Right.
I don't know what his mental state is.
Right.
I don't know what it does to him. So for him to speak to me or me to speak to him, honey, that's outside of my lane. But another man may be able to encourage him in that. And like I said, and that should be what it is. We should be, when we come together, yes, we talk about our issues, but we also need to be edifying, building one another up, and telling one another who we are, telling one another who we are in Christ, how we have the capabilities to overcome, walk victorious. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. We're not defective creatures. We are more than conquerors, and we're able to do this. So let's get strong, to strengthen one another. And in regards to the issues that people are dealing with, again, a safe place to be real, to be transparent. And I think these are the kind of gatherings that, when they do conferences, it's funny because people been trying to get me to do a women's conference for I don't know how many years. And I ain't got it in me. I still haven't done it. Anyway, just is like, oh, okay, I'll get to it. I still haven't done it. But maybe I still I did it. Anyway, but the thing is that in all areas, there needs to be healing. And I want to say this and then I'm going to quit. I read an article, I read somewhere that in Africa, many of the tribes that have not been corrupted by, missionaries, anyway, I can go there. But anyway, there are tribes, and if someone is caught stealing, what they do is they surround them and tell them about all the good things that they are. They don't point to them and say, you're a thief, you're no good, you're dirty, you're lousy, get away from us, we don't want you, we reject you. That's not what they do. They surround them and say, but you're good, but you are wonderful, but you are strong, but you're a good builder and you're a good this, to try to remind them that they don't have to stoop to their lower nature, but instead they can rise up in their true identity as children of God.
Yeah. And so
that's the same kind of thing that we need to be able to do with one another in our communities, in the churches, wherever we are, wherever we gather, whatever we're doing. And I just wanted to, and as I get off, I just want to encourage you, um, as women, because I believe what was the initial discussion on here?
What you mad for?
What you mad for as women? It was for
Yeah.
women, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing is, for women, many women are angry because they feel powerless.
Mm-hmm.
Powerlessness, oppression, but mostly powerlessness will bring about an anger. I'm gonna say this. I remember, and oh God, I gotta make this short. I had gone through some inner healing and deliverance because I was having rage issues. I mean, was just like, oh, just angry. And I said, God, what is the root to this? What is going on? What is this rage that's inside of me? And I went through some inner healing, and God took me to a memory when I was a little girl. And my cousins had come up from Chattanooga, and we were all running around playing. And they pinned me down and tickled me. And I couldn't move. My hands were pinned down, my feet were pinned down, and they would not stop tickling me. And I was helpless and felt powerless. And what replaced that feeling was rage and anger.
Mm-hmm.
That whenever I was then in a situation, if I couldn't control the situation or if things didn't go the way I wanted them to go, rage would come. When God revealed to me where the root of my anger, and I went in and I forgave and I accepted the truth that I'm not powerless, that I can do all things through Christ, that I am a powerful person. I have power in my words. I got power in my walk. Honey, I got power in my hands. I got power all through me. When I accepted that truth, the rage went away.
Mm-hmm.
So many women, many people, period. The root to the anger and the rage is a feeling of powerlessness, helplessness. Some of them, it's the real deepest hurt, rejection.
Mm.
And what is needed more than anything in PTSD in the African American community is healing.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. You made me think of some things, but that I can't go into right now because it's just getting late. But that is what we originally came on here for. It was what you mad for. Because going all up and down my timeline, it's just women screaming at men or women screaming at the screen, and this why I don't want no man, and this why I don't want no, and then I look through their stuff like on it and how they talk to men, how they talk to their children, how they talk about themselves, and all this other stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, it ain't that you don't want no man; it's just nobody like you. Don't nobody like you. Nobody likes you except them cheering with their pointy heads and that ugly dog. You are an awful person because you have projected yourself to be this non binary fluid whatever whatever new pronoun they got going on out here, and then when it comes and you just mad. But my mom always taught me, if you when you finish or done with something and you don't want something, there's no emotional attachment. It wouldn't make you that mad. So talking to men shouldn't make you that mad, sis. Because you don't want one. You like sitting in the middle of your bed eating Haagen-Dazs and being by yourself. You told everybody that you went on vacation by yourself, then you loved it. Even though I looked in the camera and I pulled it up because I'm nosy, them shoes over there is men's shoes. You was a liar. And so my thing is, what you mad for? If you getting only a spoiled child will get exactly what they asked for and then get mad about it. You spoiled. You didn't want no man. So the men that approach you are exactly what you don't want. Because you threw out there into the atmosphere. Because people don't talk about God no more. It's the atmosphere now. It's the universe. You threw out in the universe you didn't want no man. So he sends you these little boys. And so now all men are dogs. Because you put out of your mouth is what you attracted to you. You don't want no man. So obviously you want whatever's coming at you, which is these trifling boogers. Because all men are not dogs. It's real men out there. Ask some of these happily married women. And so I just wanted to know what they was mad for. And then it trickled down into this. But what you mad for branched off into the because it really comes down to they're not able to communicate with each other. And communication starts first with your parents and your siblings. And if your parents have never given you the floor to open your mouth and ask questions or say whatever you're going to say, when they put you out at 18, which is we're the only culture that does that. When they put you out or you leave or whatever at 18, you have no communication skills. And so you a grown man, and this is why you shot that boy, because you didn't know how to come back at him with a conversation. All he said was dude something. So because we don't know how to communicate with each other, we hurt people. You shot that boy because you couldn't have no. Now you're not in a relationship with him. You knew he was a good guy, but you didn't want to be in a relationship because you couldn't explain to him what you really needed from him was not his money but his time. So now you mad because he ain't never home. You never told him that you wanted him to be with you. You just said I need security, and in his mind, as a man, security is she got a nice house, a nice car. What she still complaining about? Why she still so mad? And so that's where I really wanted to know, but it went other places, and I'm always glad when it does. I'm always astounded that my podcast, me, the little fat girl who had no friends in school, people come on and they talk to me, and they genuine, and it's people with influence and power. I used to say that thing all the time. People with influence will come into my life, and God is gonna bless. And I said, you say this affirmation, and then when it comes true, you'll be looking at people like, oh my God, that's a prophet. That's an apostle. She talking to you on this. I'm going to freak out when they get off. I'm going to sit on the middle of that bed over there, and I'm going to rock myself, and I'm going to cry. Because my life is manifesting itself in a way that God said it was going to do, and I cannot believe it's happening. It's freaking me out. Because you know why? Because I'm still damaged, and I still got issues, and I still got trauma. And yet, all through all of that, he doing what he said he going to do. For me.
Because he loves you that much.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to be able to see you guys. I hope so. Because I would love to be able to just do some inner healing with you guys, with you, and just walk you through some stuff so that, real freedom and liberty. If I had my ways, I'd be doing inner healing with everybody all the time, 24/7. Just so that we can truly be free from the
Yeah.
trauma and the pains and the hurt and the rejection and the lies that we believe about ourselves
Oh my
more
God.
than anything else. And just know that you are awesome. This has been a pleasure. I got to preach in the morning. I get to go.
We're heading out right now. So thank everybody for coming. Thank you
God
guys
bless
for
you.
thank you, darling, for being on the panel. I will see you guys on next Saturday. I my insides bow down to the power and the awesome anointing that you have in your life. My spirit agrees with yours. As they say, because you woke, as they say in Africa, I see you.
Amen.
And I appreciate the anointing that you shared. Coco, know I love her. That little light skin thing there, honey. Woo, I love me some Cocoa. But please give my love from a sister from across another state to your husband for being who he is, because he came in just for a few minutes and left, and I am honored. Y'all just don't understand. I still see myself in projects, this little ponytail, huh? And please, I'm gonna get your information from Coco, and I'm gonna send you a copy of my book. And so we're leaving. It's been a long day, and I'm going to if you want to see a playback of this, then you can. Or I want to encourage you, show it to in your women's group, whoever's on here that my spirit is talking to right now. Show this in your women's group. Pick out the direction that you want and chop it up. And I promise you, it will do something for you. It will open up a discussion. It will open up discussion that because we run out of stuff to say. So it will open up a lot of discussion about some of the things that we talked about. I'll be back next Saturday. I did good. I only cursed once. I did good. I'm proud of me. And this curl pattern is calling my name. So I love all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming. And we out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Apostle, have a great night.
Good night, y'all.
You too. Bye-bye.